at 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the News 6 newsroom for News 6 at 3 o'clock. It is your first glimpse at some of the big breaking news happening this afternoon. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
I'm Matt Austin. A lot going on this Thursday. Glad you're with us. We're going to start out with some breaking news from the Department of Homeland Security. The Secretary, Kristi Noem, is now out of that job, but she is not completely out of the administration. President Trump announcing this afternoon Noem will stay on the job until the end of the month, but she will then become the special envoy for the Shield of Americas. We still have to figure out exactly what that means. All the president says right now is it's a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere. He'll provide more information on what it is on Saturday. The president already announced Noem's DHS replacement, Senator Markwayne Mullin. He served in the Senate for the last 3 years and was in the House for 10 years before that.
All right, now to another story closer to home that is just a heartbreaker. A mom faced a judge today in a felony child neglect case in the death of her 3-year-old daughter.
Yeah, we told you yesterday her boyfriend is facing some very serious charges in this as well. Your community correspondent Mark Lehman has more.
Jennifer Kendrick learning she will remain in jail after going before a judge, along with her boyfriend. Both are facing serious counts, and now we're learning more charges are coming in this case.
As far as the violation of probation case, the court's going to hold you on no bond.
A quick decision from the judge as Jennifer Kendrick appeared after an arrest on 2 counts of felony child neglect. Her charges triggering a violation of probation for a previous drug conviction. This morning, we also learned about new charges filed against her boyfriend, Jerome Coombs.
There's more victims that we're talking to, more stories that are unfolding. Understand, we're talking to children.
Coombs is facing 2 more child abuse charges connected to other children inside the home where 3-year-old Paisley Brown was found unresponsive and later died last month. Investigators say she was bound and beaten by Coombs, who was eventually charged with homicide.
And what we're learning from these child victims is this is standard behavior, standard practice.
Detectives say Coombs told them he was disciplining Brown, and in his words, he took it too far. Kendrick's arrest coming after deputies tell us she knew of the abuse and waited 40 minutes to call 911. They also say the other children are in protective custody while the investigation continues.
We're trying to find all that out to make sure we've spoken to every victim, got every story, and their story is not lost, but justice is served for those children.
From here, Kendrick will next be in court later this month for her violation of probation. When it comes to the 2 felony counts of child neglect, she's next expected in court on those on April 7th. In Marion County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Such a disturbing story. We'll keep following that for you in the coming weeks. Well, a child, and I mean a little guy, is facing some serious charges for threatening his school. You can take a look. We blurred out his face because he's so young, but the Volusia Sheriff's Office says a Pride Elementary student, this is in Deltona, wrote on a classroom whiteboard in permanent marker that he'd bring a gun to school, and he left a list of people he'd kill in his desk. That student is a 10-year-old boy, arrested for making a written threat to kill. That's a felony. You can see just how little he is right here. He told deputies he didn't mean it. His parents told investigators he didn't even have access to any guns. Sheriff's Office says it's a reminder to talk to your kids about making these threats.
I mean, he's a little boy, but he's in some big trouble right now. And in Volusia County, they really have cracked down on kids making these threats because the sheriff there says he wants you to know that there are some serious consequences that go along with that.
That's right.
And I guess
he
that's
shows
another
their
example.
faces.
Yeah, but we have chosen not to do that. Well, staying in Volusia County now, investigators there tracked down the person who they say is responsible for stealing tens of thousands of dollars, and there she is. The Volusia Sheriff's Office says Desiree Youngblood was calling people claiming to be Captain Dietrich, threatening to send people to jail if they did not pay up. Detectives tracked a $79,000 Bitcoin transfer to her wallet in Atlanta. The real Captain Dietrich helped book her into jail on grand theft and organized scheme to defraud charges. Officials say the scam ring is run by inmates in the Georgia prison system and is getting help from the outside. And more arrests, we're told, are likely to come from this. They also stress that if you get a call like this from Captain Dietrich or anyone else claiming to want you to pay up, just hang up.
I want to know how you run a scam from inside a prison.
It's a big thing, and
Yes, they have
I talked
internet
to
access?
Chitwood about it. Yeah, they really do. They've got libraries and they have access.
Wild stuff.
I know, it's something.
Hey, we're learning more about how NASA is planning to ramp up its program. To do so, they're going to need some talent. Maybe if you're an engineer, this could be for you. NASA announced a new and ambitious hiring initiative called NASA Force. The program wants to recruit top aerospace software systems and other technical talent for 2-year contracts at NASA. Administrator Jared Isaacman says it'll help strengthen in-house engineering experience and close some of those skill gaps.
We got to rebuild our core competencies. Now, is this, mean the overall workforce count increases at KSC? I don't know the answer to that specifically. I would say that there's a lot of contractors which do fantastic work that should be civil servants. That's kind of the heart of the workforce directive right now. 75% of our workforce right now is contractors. I think a lot of them should be civil servants. I think we should have those capabilities in-house.
NASA says applications will be live soon. We did reach out to Kennedy Space Center to see if that means they are hiring. They just referred us back to the original announcement. But either way,
Great
if more
news.
jobs head to the Space Coast, which you would think in this situation they would, we'll get more economic development out there as those commercial companies have a lot of those high-priced jobs out there already.
And we keep saying we're going to the moon and beyond. You can only get there if you have the people smart enough to do it. Well, the State House passed a tax cut bill aimed at saving money for campers, gun owners, and people who drink American-made beer. Maybe that's you. So the plan would revive a hunting, fishing, and camping sales tax holiday period created last year to run from September through December. During that time, sales taxes would be lifted on select camping and fishing gear along with firearms, ammunition, bows, and crossbows. The plan also lifts some taxes for the full fiscal year on American-made beer and adjust the timing of the back-to-school sales tax holiday as well. The Senate approved the tax proposal on Monday. While it has some similar proposals, there are also differences that have to be hashed out in the next week or so.
All right, well, thousands of golf fans are descending upon Windermere as they do this time every year. It is time for the Arnold Palmer Invitational teed off this morning. Take a live look out at the course at Bay Hill right now. Windermere will be packed with polo shirts between now and Sunday. It's fun out there. Sports Director Jamie Say is going to join us live from the course starting at 4. We also know all those people attending the tournament will be keeping an eye on the weather. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan will have a look at that forecast ahead. That's coming up at 3:45. I'm hoping to get a little time out there myself. If you haven't been, you get to see some guys
beautiful.
launch the ball. It's a gorgeous course. It's good times.
All right, well, crews in South Florida are battling a huge fire out there right now. We've been watching this thing burn for the better part of the morning, and it still is. This is a live look now from the scene from our CBS affiliate, Miami's helicopter out there. It looks like it's gotten a bit better, although it is huge. We're not seeing that thick black smoke that we were seeing earlier. White smoke tends to indicate they kind of have it a little better under control there, but that's not live. We're not live.
No.
Okay, got it. This is what we were seeing earlier, which is why I'm saying it looks a lot better now from those live pictures. Our partners say that the fire broke out at a warehouse in northwest Miami-Dade County this morning, sending thick black smoke into the sky. Officials are calling this a 4-alarm fire. And they say they're urging anyone in the area to stay inside, keep windows and doors closed, and only run the air conditioner by recirculating the air inside the home because they don't want all that muck and soot coming into your house and causing some people some problems who have breathing issues
nasty.
there.
Yeah,
but
that's
they're
right.
getting a handle on it.
Oh, gas prices, they continue to climb because of the war in Iran. We'll tell you what else might be contributing to those high prices at the pump.
And we are remembering a legendary football coach, a hero, as he passed away yesterday, and what people are saying about Lou Holtz.
pain at the pump is only getting worse as fighting in the Middle East intensifies. I'm Stephanie Rodriguez reporting in Seminole County. Gas prices here in Florida took another jump overnight. In Florida right now, the average is $3.24. That is up from $3.19 just the day before and 30 cents in just the last week. Now, AAA says this has a lot to do with that conflict in the Middle East, as well as some seasonal supply and demand.
So I noticed a change.
Sticker shock at the pump.
A gallon of gas costs more than a burger.
Since the U.S. and Israel launched a military campaign against Iran, gas prices have increased.
These are the highest gas prices that we've seen since last spring.
AAA says the conflict has led to constrained oil exports.
The oil prices have increased as a result of that, rising about $7 per barrel just in the past couple of days alone. That's the equivalent of about a 20-cent increase at the pump.
Even before the conflict in the Middle East, gas prices were already following similar seasonal patterns. This time of year, gas demand tends to rise as spring break travel ramps up and refineries switch to summer blend gasoline.
It's a special kind of blend of gasoline that enables the vehicles to burn that fuel more efficiently during the hotter summer months.
As it's likely the cost will continue going up this week, drivers are getting fuel now.
Well, I fill up my tank to make sure that I get it before it increases again.
Oil prices are sitting around $74 a barrel, but AAA says that's a long ways away from the $120 a barrel we saw when the Russia and Ukraine war began. Reporting in Seminole County, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
So those gas prices have been a real issue. The market's been spotty until today, where it was just downright bad. Let's take a live look at the Dow right now, as it is down 944 points. It has teetered past
it was
being
lower
down
than that
1,000 earlier. It's made a slight comeback. Stock market continues to take a hit because of the conflict there. The Dow closed just shy of 49,000 points on Friday. Take a look at it now. That is 47,700 points at the moment.
Still a little while before the markets close, but not enough time for that to rebound, I don't think.
Yeah.
All right, we are circling back to a really sad story. We told you yesterday how legendary football coach Lou Holtz died at the age of 89.
That's right. He was surrounded by his family and friends in Orlando. This is where he lived. Our social media guru, DJ, takes a look at your comments.
As the world celebrates and honors and remembers legendary football coach Lou Holtz, everyone is talking about the impact he had on people everywhere. Scrolling social media, you'll see posts like this one from ESPN's Andrea Adelson. She says, had the chance to MC one of Lou Holtz's final public appearances at the Orlando TD Club last November. He and Lee Corso told epic stories, and Lou was as sharp and funny as ever. He knew he didn't have much time left, but that didn't stop him from filling the room with joy. Michelle Tafoya says, the word icon sometimes gets thrown around. Lou Holtz was a genuine icon. I had the privilege of covering him when he was a coach and working alongside him at CBS. He was one of a kind. And Josh Pate says Lou Holtz was a rare example of an icon to different generations for different reasons. My dad knew him as the man that returned Notre Dame to the head table. I knew him as the cornerstone of the greatest CFB studio show ever produced. Rest in peace, Coach. And there's more reaction on our News 6 Facebook post, where people are in the comments sharing some of their favorite memories of Coach Holtz. And I'd love to hear your favorite stories. So go to that QR code on the screen. It'll take you to the News 6 Facebook page where you'll find that post. Drop a comment in there to join the conversation and join all of us in celebrating a legend.
Yeah, he definitely was. You know, we say you throw icon around, we throw legend around, but man, that guy was definitely legendary and a kind soul,
And
too.
could handle a room like nobody's business.
Lit up a room, actually.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, well, coming up after the break, impacts of economic uncertainty as war rages in Iran.
And a protein drink coming out from an alternative protein company. I'd be curious if you would ever try this. We'll be right back.
Hey there, I'm News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez. Beyond Meat is getting into the drink business, and investors are shifting their focus. This is all amid tensions in the Middle East. Let's get over to Maribel Aber in today's Money Matters. It seems gold and Bitcoin are now surging in popularity.
This is what we know, Lauren. The global tensions, as you mentioned there, have investors moving back into precious metals and cryptocurrencies. On Wednesday, gold rose 0.5, and this morning it's holding at over $5,100 an ounce. Now, Bitcoin surged more than 7% yesterday to top $73,000. It ticked back slightly this morning, but was still in the green. The U.S. dollar weakened against other major currencies on Wednesday, pausing a strong two-day jump. Still, that index is up 1.2% overall this week. You know, Lauren, all the market movement is enough to cause you a little whiplash. Just remember, markets can move just as quickly the other way.
That's a good point. Keep it a glass half full perspective there. All right, Beyond Meat is going beyond food. This was not on the bingo card.
No, Beyond Meat, known for, of course, its plant-based burgers and steaks, is moving into a new arena, sparkling protein drinks. The new beverage lineup called Beyond Immerse also contains fiber, antioxidants, and electrolytes. The drinks are made with gluten and soy-free pea protein and feature fruity flavors like peach mango, cherry berry, and pina colada. Each 12-ounce can offers up to 20 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber, and about 100 calories, depending on the flavor. They're currently available only online at beyondtestkitchen.com while supplies last. Wow.
Man, I'm such a sucker. I was going to say no, and then you said 20 grams of protein and 100 calories, and I thought, I might give it a try.
How's it taste?
Exactly. All right. Thank you, Maribel. Remember to get the latest money and consumer news anytime. You can head to our website, clickorlando.com.
You think they mash up that little fake meat?
I'm just going to stick to my canned ham. It's proven a lot of protein in that, and also sodium. Well, one of the country's largest airlines is making even more changes to its boarding process after a big shakeup that happened earlier this year. You might remember this story if you're a Southwest fan.
They're changing again?
Weeks after Southwest Airline dropped its open seating policy for assigned seating, the airline says people have been complaining about the new boarding process. You think? They say specifically, passengers say it's hard to find overhead bin space. In an email to customers, Southwest says it's revamping the boarding process for traffic flow and will be making storage bins larger and offering labeled bins to customers who pay extra.
There it is. That's the one.
That's the change.
Did you hear it?
Buried it. Buried the lead. The airline says it's open to future tweaks, but says the new boarding policy is working out well overall. Can I just offer a suggestion?
Sure. I'm sure they're listening.
Just board the plane from the back, because the people who get on early, they want their luggage and they put it, if your seat is way in the back, they put it up front.
Yeah.
Well, that's not your spot.
This is true.
Just take it with you.
Thank you
Just
for
pour
that
from the back.
TED Talk, Ginger. I'm sure Southwest will listen to you.
I feel better. I don't care.
The whole reason for that story was so they could charge you for an overhead bin now.
Wait, that was in the third paragraph.
We're 2 steps away from having to put quarters in to get to the bathroom, I'm telling you. Hey, still to come, the legal limbo a few protesters say they are stuck in after they were arrested here in Central Florida.
And then coming up on the news at 4 o'clock, former clerk facing felony charges accused of stealing from the community. We'll have the latest on the investigation.
Coming up in the morning, the new push to lure major sporting events to Central Florida.
And the local group with Olympic aspirations and the thousands they want to try to spend to make it happen.
And rain is back in the forecast. Candace will have updates every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 6.
Welcome back to the News 6 Newsroom. This is News 6 at 3 o'clock. Glad to have you with us this afternoon.
Yeah, we are expecting to get an update very soon on something we've been waiting on for a very long time. It's the permanent memorial for the Pulse nightclub shooting. So the city and its partners will provide an update on the design of a permanent Pulse memorial. We're expected to have that happen any moment now. The city says it'll be sharing a presentation showing how the memorial design is advancing the work of the Pulse Memorial Advisory Committee. Crews began work tearing down the former nightclub just a couple of weeks ago to make way for that memorial. Your Orlando community correspondent Troy Campbell is at the meeting. He's going to be inside and he will bring us the latest on what's happening. That's coming up at 5 o'clock.
And speaking of Pulse, 2 people who were arrested for chalking up the crosswalk right outside of the Pulse nightclub say their lives have been left in legal limbo because of this.
Yeah, this is a story we've been following for months because it has been months since this happened, but the state attorney's office still has not decided whether to file charges in this. They told your community correspondent Troy Campbell the whole thing has put their lives in limbo.
It's been several months since 2 people were arrested here outside of Pulse. They were accused of chalking this sidewalk. However, several months later, we're speaking with them and their attorney who say they don't know what's taking the state attorney's office so long on deciding whether to file charges.
If you chalk a rainbow or anything that they don't like, then in this situation you're arrested.
27-year-old James Houchins says following his November 23rd felony arrest, accused of chalking the crosswalk outside of Pulse, there still has not been any movement in the case.
There are threats of, charging with a felony for children's sidewalk chalk. I don't see them harassing schools or kids in neighborhoods chalking anywhere.
It's a hard situation.
Yeah, I'm not a felon. I haven't done anything. This is a memorial.
25-year-old Mary Jane East was also arrested on a felony charge back on August 31st by FHP, accusing her of chalking the crosswalk.
How is that? The day-to-day, that has to be something that's always weighing on your mind.
I don't go on my social medias or stuff anymore because my name has now been wrapped to this.
Now, you may remember at the time, FHP parked here at this Dunkin' Donuts for several weeks, basically just staking out, keeping an eye over here for anyone who might be considering chalking this sidewalk.
In this case, we are past the 90-day time frame, and we are still awaiting an answer from the state attorney about if they will be filing these charges or not.
Their attorney, Jordan Holmes, says she has sent several emails to the state attorney's office asking about any upcoming charging decisions.
What are some of the obvious negatives to be in this middle of uncertainty?
Right, so oftentimes employers, even I believe Uber Eats and things like that, they'll run annual background checks, so you can lose your job from that.
Holmes gave News 6 a copy of an email sent Wednesday from the state attorney's office that reads, quote, "I understand your clients' frustrations and the long pendency in their cases," and goes on to say, "I would anticipate a couple of more weeks to conclude my decisions."
What I would like to see happen, and I believe what my clients would like to see happen, is that this be treated with a little bit more urgency. This is affecting their lives. They're unable to work.
Houchins and East say they want a charging decision soon.
It was dedicated as part of the memorial, and the state just showed up and just painted over like it meant nothing.
And of course, we will continue to keep you updated on when a charging decision is officially made. Outside of Pulse, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Well, Apopka's mayoral election is March 10th, which is next week.
That's right. I recently had the opportunity to team up with the Orlando Sentinel to ask each of the 3 candidates some of your pressing questions. One of the things we tried to drill down about was their plans for future downtown there in Apopka. We've seen businesses leave. We see plenty of traffic there. We've heard from 2 of the candidates so far. Today, we hear from former City Commissioner Nick Nesta.
Let's talk about Apopka's downtown. It has recently undergone a pretty big, vivid transformation, but we have certainly seen some businesses are struggling. We've seen restaurants and at least one bar shut down. And there are still some problems with traffic there and other issues. So tell me, and tell the voters really, what is your idea? What is your vision for downtown Apopka? Commissioner Nesta.
Thank you. Yeah, the downtown Apopka area, having grown up here and really seen it go through transformation and changes, and businesses come, businesses go. And the problem is that we don't have a cohesive or comprehensive plan. How do we create synergy between the downtown area, the business owners there. There's a substantial amount of churches down there. Once elected, I'm going to make sure that we reintroduce what the city is to be to our residents, how we enjoy the city again. We haven't shown our residents how to truly enjoy our downtown area. One big thing is I pushed hard for the economic development director and department that the current administration really pushed against. So it's just actually utilizing that department to its fullest potential, incentivizing businesses not only to come to downtown, but to stay downtown.
So those three candidates answered our questions for about an hour. If you'd like to check that out, you can find it on clickorlando.com. Also, that election is March 10th, if you're interested.
A vibrant downtown, very important to a lot of people.
It is.
Well, something we see pretty much every year, people asking for homeowners insurance reform. We've heard it and we've done stories on it. It's a big deal across the state. And which provider you have in this situation matters a lot, and it means do you pay a lot or not. Okay, so U.S. News and World Report released its latest list of best homeowner insurance companies. The rankings uses factors like availability, rates, coverage options, reviews, and of course consumer surveys. State Farm took the top spot in this. It also has the cheapest yearly premium, according to this.
Maybe that's why.
Florida Peninsula Insurance Company, Homeowners Choice, and Universal Insurance round out the top four. That is good to know.
You don't know you have good insurance until you have to use it.
Oh, and you hope you never have to use it.
Pretty remarkable rescue. This one caught on camera. Take a listen.
I'm trying to get him. We're trying, dude. Spray it. Don't. I'm dragging him. We're dragging him, Brave. Just keep pulling in there.
Okay, that's the bottom of a shoe. They're pulling this guy out. St. John Sheriff's deputies were called to a crash on I-95 Sunday. Car was on fire. They found the driver lying in some of these bushes here. He had been thrown from the car after the crash. Couldn't move. You could see deputies climb through the brush, pull him to safety. He was taken to the hospital with some pretty serious injuries.
Intense video.
FHP is looking into that crash. I'm shocked seeing the video, how they were even able to find him in that brush. He was buried in that
lucky.
stuff.
Well, a kerfluffle on the court in the Panhandle, ending with quite a scare.
We've got some swinging down in the paint now, and tempers have flared between Houston and Cordesia Harris.
So it's not an MMA match, but it looked like one for a second. This was the second round of the Sun Belt tournament being played between South Alabama and Coastal Carolina and Pensacola. This was yesterday. Tempers were obviously flaring on the court in the fourth quarter. Two players started to swing at each other, and the ref got caught in the middle of it all and knocked out cold. You see that poor person just stretched out on the floor right there. They didn't ask for that. 8 players in all were ejected. Okay, so you can't talk about sportsmanlike conduct and then...
Right.
Yeah, it's just...
Those refs really put their bodies on the line.
They have to. They can't just stand by and watch it happen. They got to make sure it doesn't happen.
Maybe they should have.
All right, now to a feathery rescue. The Orlando Fire Department posted some pictures you're about to see there. They were rescuing duckling. Oh my gosh, what a cute little family that is. Did you see that mama duck and her little
Very
babies?
cute. There's a lot of them. She's been busy.
She's keeping count. Okay, so officials say a few ducklings fell down a drain. Firefighters were able to reunite the babies with their mama eventually. Can I tell you, when I worked in Tampa, we had a photographer, Casey Cumley. A mama duck was stuck down, the babies were stuck down the drain and they wouldn't come toward it. He recorded the mama duck's audio up on land, recorded it, put the camera down in the thing, and the babies followed the voice so they could take them out one by one.
They followed the mama voice?
Yes, that was recorded because they didn't know to turn around.
Cute little things.
They are adorable.
Yeah,
I love when
just saw
people
my
help
first
wildlife.
of the season sandhill crane baby in my neighborhood.
Oh, it was only 3 feet tall, right?
Actually, it was a run.
Is it really?
I was worried
Okay.
about this thing. All right, well, the next story could be the plot line for the next Hangover movie.
Oh,
I promise you, this is...
You see where this is going.
This is total Vegas story. You see what? Can you tell what that is, Gigi?
Well,
Las Vegas police arrest.
Is that? Wait a minute. First of all, is that guy shirtless?
He is shirtless.
Cradling a flamingo?
That's a real flamingo. The tourist from Canada, not from Florida, caught on camera stealing a flamingo from the Flamingo Hotel Habitat. They say he broke into the bird enclosure.
Oh, come on.
Brought the bird named Peachy back to his room. What was this guy thinking? The man faces 4 felony animal
I like how we know the
abuse charges.
flamingo's name.
What? It's got the flamingo has a name.
No flamingos were hurt in the making of this
That
story.
did not stay in Vegas.
No,
That
it
has made
should have,
everywhere,
though.
yeah.
It really should have.
All right, we know a lot of people have their eyes on the forecast for this week, so we're going to get down and dirty into what is taking place, especially for your weekend coming up after the break.
Yeah, and we have the latest discussion about the water that may be coming out of your faucet.
Your Thursday evening traffic alert. Watch out. Express lanes are going to be closed overnight as you're traveling westbound approaching 434. It's happened each night and scheduled to take place for the rest of our weeknight. So again, westbound I-4 approaching 434, you just won't be able to slide into the express lanes there. And then lane closures, I-4 east and westbound between the turnpike down here at State Road 528. We'll see those daytime closures that we saw during Trooper Steve on patrol during even the daytime out here at 528 in Goldenrod. And then of course, big shutdowns along the Florida Turnpike. Any shutdown on the Turnpike's big, but down here in Kissimmee along Turnpike and 192, you could see some detours overnight. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 Traffic Alert. Drive safely. I'll catch you in the morning.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Bill Ray Nissan Longwood. We do it the right way.
Hey, welcome back. Let's take a live look. This is beautiful Lake Dora.
Gorgeous.
I need to go see Mount Dora soon.
You do. It's beautiful out there.
Every so often, I need to go out there. It's very healing. Beautiful day in Mount Dora on the northern sides. You're looking good.
Yeah.
But if you want some rain, the south side is where you want to be. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan joins us now. You can see all of it. We're talking actual storms here with some lightning.
We have some lightning. We have some heavy rain. We welcome it because many of us, we've been dealing with an extreme drought across Central Florida, which, of course, we are in the dry season, but we are slowly approaching the rainy season, hence why we're seeing some showers and thunderstorms moving across the area. So to take a look at the radar, we have heavy rain moving across Johnson, parts of Osceola County, heading towards Kissimmee. You'll see some good soaking rain momentarily. And looking at a few light showers moving across Oak Ridge, Dr. Phillips, you'll see some light showers, and also Lake Mary getting in on some light showers as well. And most of the shower activity that you're seeing here on your screen, it's all sea breeze driven. A lot of moisture in the atmosphere. It's pretty breezy along our coastline. So we'll continue to see that setup as we go through today, this evening, and lasting through the next several days. So just make sure you have that umbrella nearby. As we take a look at the current temperatures here, it is toasty. We're above average in the 80s, upper 70s here across Central Florida. Your pinpoint forecast for Kissimmee, we're going to keep rain chances between that 20-30% range as we go through the 6 o'clock hour. Temperature steady in the lower 80s through 5, upper 70s around 6, middle 70s later on this evening if you do have any evening plans. Now your forecast lows, pretty mild here. We're looking at 67 in Orlando and Kissimmee, 68 degrees in Cocoa Beach, 65 in New Smyrna Beach, and 62 degrees in Palm Coast. Now tomorrow, it is going to get very warm. In fact, about 10 degrees above average in Orlando. Normally we're at 77 degrees. My forecast high for tomorrow in Orlando is 87. Same deal in Claremont, Leesburg, 88 in the Villages. So if you're doing anything outside, make sure you're staying hydrated and don't forget the sunscreen. That's very important. So as we take a look at the rain chances here, pretty moderate as we go through the next couple of days, and then much lower as we head into next week. We'll see a bit of dry air move into the area, so that's going to knock down our rain chances. Clouds and rain forecast, keeping the showers and storms around as we go through the 6, 7, 8 o'clock hour. Things begin to dry out. Most of the shower and storm activity has shifted way off to the west there along the I-75 corridor. Heading into the overnight hours, we look fine. We may see a few isolated light showers, but we will be starting off nice and dry. But once again, there is the potential for some patchy dense fog in the morning, so just be mindful of that. Today is Thursday, so the latest drought monitor came out, and you can see here not much has improved. We are still dealing with an extreme drought over our northern spots, and then a moderate drought over our central areas. So we need the rain, we welcome it, so we're going to get a little bit of that. So I leave you here with your 7-day forecast. 87 degrees tomorrow with a 30% coverage for rain. As we head into the weekend, upper 80s with a 30 to 40% coverage. And also it's daylight saving.
Look
so
at that.
Set your clocks ahead
We
an
get
hour.
to lose an hour of sleep.
Yes,
How
looking
wonderful.
forward to that.
My favorite day of the year.
Of course.
If you want to keep tabs on all of these storms, there's a good way to do it, right?
Of course, make sure to download our new 6 weather app. Our hurricane app is built in. It sends personalized weather alerts and gives you access to our radar. Search WKMG in your app store, and it's free.
Could people in Daytona Beach soon be drinking water that was once in their toilets? I'm News 6's Alex Cook, and not if the charter amendment that was read Wednesday night here at Daytona Beach City Hall passes and goes before the people for a vote. A new Florida law says that cities will no longer be allowed to dump treated wastewater into rivers by the year 2032. Now, cities like Daytona Beach are figuring out what to do with that water next.
I certainly don't want my children or grandchildren drinking treated sewage water. I think that's awful.
That concern shared by several residents during public comment at Wednesday night's Daytona Beach City Commission meeting.
It's chemically treated sewage, chemicals, along with fecal matter.
Most of us don't think twice about what happens after we flush the toilet. But that water doesn't just disappear. It becomes wastewater that the city has to treat. Right now, millions of gallons of wastewater end up here in the Halifax River every day. But by 2032, cities like Daytona Beach will need to find somewhere else for that water to go.
Some cities have explored turning highly treated wastewater into drinking water, a process critics often call toilet to tap. We should be clear, Daytona Beach has no current plans to even look into pumping treated sewage water into homes. Supporters say their proposed charter amendment will keep toilet to tap off the table permanently.
We've got one more reading to go so that the people can vote. And if it's a vote, it will be a vote to amend the charter, so it's not something a subsequent commission can just put away. It would have to be put away by the voters at a later time if that's what the voters at that time wanted to do.
If the commission passes the ordinance at their next meeting, voters can decide on keeping toilet to tap out of Daytona in November.
I really hope that in 2 weeks, everyone on this commission votes in favor of it. It can always be reversed. But we can't go back from drinking sewage water.
In Daytona Beach, Alex Cook, News 6.
Thing is, Florida's growing. The aquifer is going down. The water table's dropping.
If you just add a little lemon slice to it, I'm sure it'll taste fine.
I just don't feel well. So I'm just going to leave it alone. That one woman described it perfectly, though.
Right. Well, communities across Central Florida are trying to come up with ways to fight homelessness.
Yeah, a number have started to build new shelters after the state's camping ban outlawed sleeping in public places.
But as your Orange County community correspondent Jarrell Baker explains, solutions are not sitting well with everyone.
Yeah, I'm here right outside of the county administration building in downtown Orlando, waiting for Commissioner Uribe. Ask her questions about this project. Now, we know it is a 10-acre facility and will have 150 beds, also offer services like food on site and laundry as well. But several people I've spoke with, including one of the neighbors, Robin Persons, who live in a neighborhood nearby, says that their concerns are mainly about security and also what these people will be doing once they are housed there. Now, she says that there also is a presence there already over there where she lives, and she wants to know if they will have access to that and also what they'll be doing. Will this be a long-term basis or will this be a short-term basis so people can get the resources they need and also get some rehabilitation and job assistance so that way they can get back on their feet. So she wants to know about that as well as also how this will be ran, and especially when it comes to security. She lives nearby the area and she's wondering not only does it bring extra people, but also foot traffic to her neck of the woods as well, and how will that be monitored? We'll be asking Commissioner Uribe these questions, and I'll be having this story at 5:30 here in Orlando. Jarrell Baker, News 6.
All right, very interesting. You know, we've tackled a lot of big problems that our community is facing. Yes, that's one of them. Of course, the water situation, another one. But there is a student, a young lady who has come up with a big solution for a big problem. A doctoral student in North Florida is coming up with a revolutionary way to power large machinery underwater.
There
Take a look.
is.
There she is. A student at the FAMU Florida State College of Engineering is building a lithium Seawater flow battery designed to keep unmanned submarines and other underwater vehicles running. She says right now the subs have to come back to the surface to recharge, which can sometimes take days, but she says this battery design could cut that time to just 30 minutes. She says the system could deliver more than 10 times the energy of traditional lithium-ion batteries.
Finally being able to get that success after all those failures was like the best part of like my research because coming in I had very limited battery knowledge, didn't really have like battery knowledge behind me. So coming in, I was like, it was a whole new world for me, and that was like the most exciting part, like to open up a new space that I've never been in as an electrical engineer.
See, we just need more young people to pursue electrical engineering
And
degrees.
solve all the problems.
Correct. We won't have to talk about drinking toilet water. The school says they are looking for other students to continue her research for the next 3 to 4 years because, you know, she's going to graduate, move on.
My gosh.
Make $1 billion.
Exactly.
Kudos to her for seeing a problem.
I don't understand what she's doing, but I'm glad she's doing it.
Someone has to, and it's better that it's her than not us.
Solving lots of problems.
Exactly. All right, well, traffic cameras seem to be everywhere these days.
We are looking at new efforts in Tallahassee to establish rules around some of those cameras. We're going to have that story for you coming up.
Today we're at Odyssey Middle School getting ready to find out who our next Educator of the Week is, sponsored by Osborne Francis and Pettis Law Firm. Hi, Mr. Smith. Congratulations, you've been selected as the new 6th Educator of the Week, sponsored by Osborne Francis.
I'm Mr. Smith. I'm the new 6th Educator of the Week. I'm grateful for anybody that notices anything that I'm doing, and says that space that he's in, he's making it better. So anybody that notices that's an honor for me. So I appreciate that.
Do you know an educator who has inspired you, your child, or community? Nominate them now at clickorlando.com/Educator of the Week, sponsored by Osborne Francis and Pettis Law Firm.
Central Florida already leads the state with the most red light cameras, and with schools now adding speed cameras like this one right here and those bus cameras we've been talking about, drivers now face an ever-growing threat of getting a ticket they may not have deserved. Florida lawmakers are debating a new bill that could change the rules you might have to follow when you're behind the wheel. I'm your traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve. Now, it covers everything from stopping at red lights to some strict new rules when it comes to those cameras. The unblinking eye. Florida is home to more than 3,000 traffic cameras for everything from red lights to schools to buses. Last year, those 3,000 cameras hit Florida drivers with almost 2 million violations. But were they all fair?
We've had a lot of issues in relation to these cameras, and full disclosure, I'm not a fan of them at all.
Right now, the Florida Senate is taking up a sweeping plan to clarify where and when the cameras can be used, who has access to the data collected, and what rights drivers have. Under the bill, drivers would have 60 days instead of the current 30 days to dispute a violation from a speed camera. Schools that use speed cameras would need to have flashing lights to let drivers know the school zone is in effect and make it easier for drivers to challenge tickets.
I just want to have as many checks and balances in place as Senator Grahl referred to.
But that's not all. The bill would also clarify when you could get a ticket for a right on a red. Under the bill, as long as you make a complete stop and do not interfere with oncoming traffic or pedestrians, then you'd be protected from a ticket, even from a red light camera. The bill also prohibits the use of traffic infraction detectors for remote surveillance and limits the use of data recorded by such detectors. If it clears the Senate, it will also still have to head towards the Florida House. I'm your News 6 traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve.
All right, we are getting ready to start News 6 at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, coming up at 4, your Orange County community correspondent Mike Valenti was in court as a local man who's accused in a $350 million Ponzi scheme involving cryptocurrency, faced a judge today. We're going to have that story for you coming up. News 6 at 4 starts right now.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 4.
Anything you want to say after today's hearing, Mr. Delgado?
No comment today. Thank you, guys.
The man accused of running a nearly $350 million Ponzi scheme is walking out of jail. See what he had to say when your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valente asked about his charges. Plus,
I'm meteorologist Julie Broughton tracking some sea breeze storms. Who has the best chance of seeing some rain in minutes?
and we start with some breaking news this afternoon. President Trump ousting Kristi Noem from her job as Secretary of Homeland Security.
Her removal comes just 2 days after contentious testimony in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. She was grilled about her comments during the Minnesota ICE controversy.
There have been 3 homicides in Minneapolis in 2026. Your agents committed 2 of them.
How did you think that calling them domestic terrorists at that scene was somehow going to calm the situation?
You know, Senator, we are working in those situations where there's a tragic loss of life and that there is something that our agents are involved in, that we continue to deliver information.
What we've seen is innocent people getting detained that turn out are American citizens.
Nome's last day as Homeland Secretary is March 31st. President Trump says she will then become a special envoy for the government. The president has named Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen as her replacement. He learned he was getting the job a short time before the president announced it.
I've got to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting the call today, but super excited.
Mullen would need to go through Senate confirmation hearings and a Senate vote before he can get the job.
A live look now. This is State Road 538. This is in Poinciana. You can see that there is some rain on the roads. They're indicating something we desperately need, which is the rain.
Meteorologist Julie Broughton joins us now with what is happening outside. Julie?
We are seeing some pretty decent showers, especially south of Orlando. Unfortunately, the rain not terribly widespread, but we have seen some pretty decent showers right now coming down and tracking toward the Four Corners area. As we go in a little bit closer, you can see we have been seeing some lightning within this cluster of storms sitting mainly off to the south of Kissimmee. We can go in a little bit closer for you on the radar and show you exactly what we're dealing with. So areas like Campbell over toward Intercession City and Lowman, all seeing some of those showers that are continuing to ride off to the north and west. Now, as we take a wider look out, again, you can see most of us are dry, and we're seeing the west coast sea breeze coming inland as well. So I do think to the west of Orlando, as we head into the early evening hours, we could be talking about a sea breeze collision. So kind of a summer-like pattern out there right now. Here's what it looks like for you right now. This is our Light Orlando delivering Hope Together camera over downtown Orlando. And as you look at the clouds, you can see some vertical development there, indicating that we have some instability in the atmosphere, and that is helping to produce some of those storms. A warm day for us, 81 degrees. Now, as we head through the next several days, every single day in our extended forecast, our temperatures do stay warmer than normal, and we could even be closing in on some records. We'll talk more about when that could happen coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Julie, thank you. Happening right now, Orlando city leaders are giving an update on the permanent Pulse Memorial. Leaders are showing how the design advances work recommended by the Pulse Memorial Advisory Committee. Crews have begun clearing the Pulse nightclub site to make way for that permanent memorial honoring the 49 souls lost in that mass shooting in 2016.
The U.S. House of Representatives is expected to vote today on whether to limit further military action in Iran.
It comes as American allies in the Middle East continue to try and handle a barrage of drones and missiles. News 6 anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom right now. And Matt, there has been some support on Capitol Hill for the continued conflict.
Some, that's right. The U.S. Senate voted yesterday not to limit the president's power to continue action in the Middle East. The worry right now, some states in the Middle East say they're running low on interceptors to take down those Iranian missiles. Though U.S. Central Command says the Iranian regime's ability to impact U.S. forces and regional partners is declining. It comes as Iran's foreign minister says the U.S. will, quote, bitterly regret sinking one of its ships. U.S. Congress members talked about the war today, including how the Department of Defense measures success in Iran.
The president's doing what he should be doing. But in fact, if he didn't do this, I think it would be a dereliction of duty. When you know that Iran's trying to create a nuclear weapon to destroy Americans, and they've been killing Americans for 40 years.
The lack of specifics on that are troubling in terms of how long this is going to last.
So United States Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is preparing to talk about this Operation Epic Fury. That's a live press conference taking place at 4:30. We'll be bringing that to you right here on air as it happens. Ginger, Lisa, back to you.
All right, Matt, thank you. The fallout hitting your wallet. Oil prices surging to $80 a barrel today, and that had a big impact on the stock market. Here's a live look at stocks after the closing bell. At one point, the Dow was down more than 1,000 points today, again, because oil prices were rising due to that conflict overseas. The Dow ending the day down more than 700 points. The S&P ending down 0.57% on the day. The Nasdaq ending down 0.26%.
The man accused of running a nearly $350 million Ponzi scheme is staying tight-lipped about the charges against him. Walking outside of the federal court in Orlando today, Christopher Delgado declined to answer repeated questions from reporters, including your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti. Mike joins us now live. Mike, bring us up to date.
Yeah, Ginger, 34-year-old Christopher Alexander Delgado walking out of those doors at the federal courthouse behind me after a nearly hour-long hearing. That gave us quite the glimpse into his life of luxury. Anything you want to say after today's hearing, Mr. Delgado?
No comment today. Thank you, guys.
Equipped with a GPS monitor on his ankle, Christopher Delgado took his attorney's lead and stayed quiet when asked about the allegations that he defrauded investors out of millions.
Do you anticipate talking one day once this is resolved? No comment, guys. Thank you.
The former CEO of the now defunct Goliath Ventures, Delgado is charged with wire fraud and money laundering, accused of providing payments of purported returns to existing investors, using the funds contributed by new investors. Prosecutors say he used investor funds to buy multi-million-dollar homes in several places, including Winter Park and Kissimmee.
The government says one investor lost about $720,000. And some investor funds, meanwhile, the feds say, were being used for Delgado's personal expenditures and also for Goliath's corporate spending on things like corporate credit cards and Christmas parties. Did you use investor funds for Christmas parties for Goliath?
We have no comment at this time. Thank you.
So in that hearing today, a federal judge ruled that a list of Delgado's assets be frozen. Those assets amount to more than 50. We're talking about luxury cars, watches, and other jewelry, both here in the United States and in Dubai. I'm your Orange County community correspondent reporting outside the federal courthouse in Orlando. Back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you. Investigators say they have arrested a former teacher accused of having a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old student. Apopka police say they arrested 26-year-old Cadillo Rivera Nieves earlier this week. They say they learned he had the relationship with the student in 2022, and it lasted more than a year. He was a teacher at Apopka High School at the time. Police say when they arrested him, he was working at a Mater Academy charter school. Leaders with the Orange County School District say the teacher has not worked with them since 2024. They say they're working with investigators.
The best golfers from around the world are in Central Florida for the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Yeah, and the first round is underway. Sports director Jamie Say is live in Bay Hill. Jamie.
Hi, Ginger. Hi, Lisa. I can tell you that today's opening round was one of the steamier ones since the tournament was moved up to the first week of March. But the high temperatures did not matter to fans. They still came out to Bay Hill in droves today to catch the early action of the Arnold Palmer Invitational, to watch some of the best golfers in the world ply their craft, try to master a very tough course, maybe get an autograph, and also to honor the legendary host, Arnold Palmer. This is the 10th tournament without the king, but he is still a towering presence here. I talked to golf fans today, young and a little older. Do you play golf?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you like golf?
It's a very humbling sport, and it's not a game of perfection.
That's a great answer. What brought you out here today?
Just the fun. Just the fun. It's a good time. Got to honor Mr. Palmer.
How many years have you been coming to the Invitational?
Well, since it's been here at Bay Hill, yeah, and then of course down the street there. Did that down the street there too, part.
What are some of your favorite memories of this tournament?
Arnold Palmer.
He was a mighty good friend, and I really miss him. My brother used to caddy for him, and that's how I got to know him real well.
Really, what was he like to you?
He was a close friend. Every time he'd come out here, he'd find me, and we'd tease each other. We would tease each other about our age.
It's been 10 years since he passed away, 10 years without the king. How much do you still feel his presence here?
It's right over us. It's here all the time.
Definitely the sun was shining on all the fans at Bay Hill today. We can thank Mr. Palmer for that, I guess. I think he'd appreciate what happened so far in his tournament. As warm as the weather was, Daniel Berger sizzled even more. He's ranked 60th in the world, 61st in the world, and he shot a low round 9 under 63. That is one off the course record. It's the lowest opening round in over 10 years. Currently, he has a 3-shot lead, but there are still more golfers out on the course as they're looking to finish up the first round. Live at the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill, I'm Jamie Say, News 6. Ladies, back to you.
You're the envy of everyone in the studio right now, Jamie. Great assignment, great job out there. Thank you very much. Well, 3 candidates are fighting to lead a historic Central Florida town dealing with a lot of challenges.
We're taking a closer look at the race for mayor and what is at stake there.
A possible school closure coming up. We share more on that discussion that's happening in Marion County. Furthermore, what parents and staff had to say.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Well, it was an hours-long discussion in Marion County over the possible closure of an elementary school. I'm News 6's Tylisa Hampton. However, what the board heard today was from community members who say that school has a connection to students. Furthermore, they urged the board to pause the rezoning for now and make sure this was actually the best option.
Parents and teachers.
For elementary age children, school is so much more than a building.
For a child with ADHD and ODD, that can sudden change isn't small.
One by one, each spoke about Spar Elementary, making their pleas to the school board to not close the school.
I think that school should remain open if it's possible, because that's part of my life. All my kids come through that school.
For almost a year, the Marion County School Board has been discussing rezoning, noting a decrease in enrollment in several schools under capacity, causing financial challenges.
Every single student has a dollar sign attached to them.
At a February meeting, some board members opposed combining Spar and Anthony Elementary into one school and possibly building another, instead suggesting closing Spar and rezoning students to bring other schools up to capacity next school year. Parents calling the decision rushed.
This rapid school change leaves no time to restructure my child's life.
I ask that you weigh not only the numbers on a page, but the developmental impact on these children.
But after a debate,
you have to make sure that whatever we do it in the right timing, make sure it's done for the right reasons.
I am in favor of moving forward.
The board ultimately decided to postpone rezoning into the 2027-28 school year and hold more community meetings.
Really excited about it. I know change is inevitable, so there's going to be a decision now. I think with the allotted time to wait, they can actually make a good decision for the community.
I'm super pleased. I think it gives everyone a little bit more adequate time to get everything together.
And despite the board postponing that rezoning for now, many of the board members did say consolidation would be in the future for Marion County, and that next community meeting is scheduled for next week. Reporting for News 6, I'm Tylisa Hampton.
Only on News 6, stealing from a cemetery and taxpayers. A former town clerk is facing a felony charge of grand theft. She's accused of buying up cemetery plots at a fraction of the price on her last day at the office.
News 6's Catherine Silver is in Lake County with the exclusive court documents.
It's a small town of 1,800 people. This is Astatula, where Jennifer Tucker is accused of defrauding the place she used to work for.
Wow, that's kind of wild.
Word started spreading as soon as we started asking questions Thursday.
This is the first time I've actually heard about it.
Do you know the name Jennifer Tucker?
I do.
There's so much gossip that goes on around here.
I know nothing. What we do know from court records is that Tucker turned herself in Flagler County in February after a warrant was issued in Lake County for her arrest for grand theft. Tucker's arrest affidavit shows she purchased plots here at the city-owned cemetery for a fraction of the price. She allegedly purchased 30 of them, well below the out-of-town rate of $1,000 and the residential rate of $100. Tucker's affidavit says she paid $300 when she should have paid $3,000. It's a loss of $2,700 to the town. Authorities in Lake County started investigating when Astatula's mayor, Zane Teeters, reported the town had tried to resolve the matter with the former town clerk, but she allegedly stopped responding. We went to the town hall Thursday, where the mayor told us off camera he cannot comment on an ongoing investigation. Tucker's affidavit says she worked here as the town clerk for about 8 months before she resigned in August. The same month, investigators say the plots were purchased. We also went to an address for Tucker listed in court records. It's gated. And tried to reach her by phone. Hi, is this Jennifer? Our conversation was short. We wanted to give you an opportunity to tell your side of the story. She told us she would need to speak with her lawyer before she says anything about the allegations.
Hi, Zane Teeters.
In 2024, our news team saw her in her role as clerk, swearing in newly elected officials, including the mayor, after the first closely contested election in this small town in more than a decade. Before Tucker was the town clerk, she was the president of the cemetery committee, according to the affidavit. She's expected in court for an arraignment hearing on March 16th. In Lake County, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
All right, time now for a look at our forecast, and we are grateful that there is some stuff on the radar. We just don't want any severe stuff, Julie.
Right, no severe weather out there right now. Now, we have seen some lightning, of course, with as dry as the vegetation is. Lightning's not a great situation for us, but some of that lightning beginning to wind down. Radar scanning out for us, looping back over the last hour or so, showing the general movement with these showers is off to the north and west. We can go in a little bit closer for you on the radar and show you that in Osceola County, that's where we're seeing some of the heaviest activity as we go to areas like Intercession City. That's tracking up into extreme southern Orange County, moving over into southern Lake County. But some of these showers and storms are losing their energy as they make their way in. The West Coast sea breeze is also set up and is pushing inland, and we are looking at the potential of a sea breeze collision generally off to the west of Orlando in the Lake County, Sumter County area as we move into the early evening hours. Now, it is certainly great to see some rain out there. We desperately need it. We get those those new drought monitor numbers every Thursday morning. So the latest drought monitor came out this morning. No major changes to Central Florida. Things got considerably worse in Southwest Florida, but all of Central Florida still experiencing drought conditions. So it's going to take a lot of rain for us to get things back to where we need to be. Here's what it looks like for us right now as we take a live look from our Daytona Beach sky cam. Really looking pretty out there. Now, if you are planning to head to the beach over the next couple of days, keep in mind we're looking at the elevated threat of rip currents and some rough surf, so make sure you are very careful out there. 78 degrees right now in Daytona Beach. As we head to our interior spots, that's where things are really quite warm, especially across our western counties. Look at that, 87 in Claremont, Leesburg, and Ocala. Wildwood, you are at 84 degrees. Now, here's your hour-by-hour forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Anderson.
Okay, I didn't change the banner. I got so excited about Sir Chugsworth and Mr. Bojangles and their wonderful names, but we will keep temperatures generally in the 80s as we head through the rest of the evening, and then overnight we'll go down into the 60s. Here's a look at the southeastern United States. We still have a big ridge of high pressure in place over our area, and along with that, that is blocking all these systems to our north. This is a system that's been bringing rain to the central and Midwest. Clouds and rain forecast for our area again showing as we head into the evening hours by 8 o'clock. Most of this really winds down for us. We will be left with a little bit of cloud cover overnight. I think depending how much the winds relax, we could again see some areas of patchy fog for your Friday morning drive. And then we'll keep a few showers and thunderstorms around for tomorrow with a little bit better chance of rain headed our way by Saturday. Overnight tonight, we go to 67 in Orlando, 68 in Melbourne, and 62 in Palm Coast. Here is your 7-day forecast. We keep highs in the upper 80s every single day. Sunday looks to be our best bet to challenge some records. And don't forget, Saturday night into Sunday, we spring forward 1 hour.
All right, Julie, thank you.
Eatonville has historic roots, and whoever is next to lead the town could shape what happens to taxes and home ownership.
We're getting to know the candidates running for mayor and what this means for you next.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Light Orlando.
Hey, I'm News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez here in Eatonville with historic roots as one of the first Black self-governing municipalities in the entire country, which gave people economic power. Recently, though, it's been blanketed by poverty, all the more reason why voters should know who wants to be its next mayor.
Fifth-generation Eatonville resident Ruthie Critton tells me she loves this town. She moved back after college. She's raising a family here and serves on the board for community redevelopment. She also rarely misses a council meeting.
Just sitting in and listening. Again, self-governance is a big thing in the town of Eatonville, understanding from a visual perspective what Robert's Rules of Order look like when you're in town government, what resolutions are, what procurement is.
For Critton, buying a home and paying taxes showed her the value of being invested in a community, and her top priorities are resources for homeownership and town finances.
We have a huge renter community here, so we're welcoming of those residents, but we want to make sure that we're providing resources to the residents that are interested in home ownership.
Now, because of Eatonville's size, it's heavily reliant on tax revenue. Critton wants to explore taxable opportunities.
To find ways to spend money wisely, to save money, to substitute with resources and alternatives.
To watch Critton's full interview along with the two other candidates for mayor, go to clickorlando.com/election2026. In Eatonville, I'm your community correspondent, Lauren Melendez, News 6.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is getting ready to give an update on the strikes in Iran.
Yeah, we will take that update live for you. That's coming up next. Welcome back. We are following several top stories right now.
In Lake County, a former town clerk is facing a felony charge of grand theft. She's accused of purchasing cemetery plots way below the normal rate. The city says it's a loss of $2,700. In Orange County, the former CEO of a defunct business was in court facing accusations he defrauded investors of nearly $350 million. Christopher Delgado is charged with wire fraud and money laundering. Prosecutors say he used the funds to live a life of luxury. The judge ruled a list of Delgado's assets are to be frozen. And investigators say a teacher is accused of having a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old student. They say that relationship lasted more than a year. He worked at Apopka High School at the time. The school district says they are working with investigators.
Happening right now, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is expected to give an update on the situation that's happening in the Middle East. You are looking live at the podium there. As soon as he begins to discuss what's happening in Iran and elsewhere, we will take those comments for you live. Now to a mom facing a judge accused of felony child neglect in the death of her 3-year-old.
Investigators say her boyfriend hit the little girl 3 times, killing her. News 6's Mark Lehman was in the courtroom. He's filling us in on the case.
Jennifer Kendrick learning she will remain in jail after going before a judge, along with her boyfriend. Both are facing serious counts, and now we're learning more charges are coming in this case.
As far as the violation of probation case, the court's going to hold you on no bond.
A quick decision from the judge as Jennifer Kendrick appeared after an arrest on 2 counts of felony child neglect. Her charges triggering a violation of probation for a previous drug conviction. This morning, we also learned about new charges filed against her boyfriend, Jerome Coombs.
There's more victims that we're talking to, more stories are unfolding. Understand, we're talking to children.
Coombs is facing 2 more child abuse charges connected to other children inside the home where 3-year-old Paisley Brown was found unresponsive and later died last month. Investigators say she was bound and beaten by Coombs, who was eventually charged with homicide.
And what we're learning from these child victims is this is standard behavior, standard practice.
Detectives say Coombs told them he was disciplining Brown, and in his words, he took it too far. Kendrick's arrest coming after deputies tell us she knew of the abuse and waited 40 minutes to call 911. They also say the other children are in protective custody while the investigation continues.
We're trying to find all that out to make sure we've spoken to every victim, got every story, and their story is not lost, but justice is served for those children.
From here, Kendrick will next be in court later this month for her violation of probation. When it comes to the 2 felony counts of child neglect, she's next expected in court on those on April 7th. In Marion County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Investigators have identified the 37-year-old man who was shot and killed at an apartment complex. Officers say they found the man yesterday at the Parkside Apartments. That is on Dixie Avenue. That is near Lake Harris in Lake County. Officers have now identified the man as Jody Ross. They are asking anyone with information to call Leesburg Police or Crime Line.
The man investigators say is behind a wild scene on the 408 will not be leaving jail. Troopers say Damian Miles led troopers on a chase, first down I-4, then to the 408. Troopers say they clocked him doing 86 and a 60. They say instead of stopping, the 21-year-old took off, led them on that miles-long chase, and eventually spun off on the 408 near Good Homes Road. Investigators say Miles tried to run off, but was eventually tased and arrested. Troopers say he had nearly 5 pounds of marijuana in his car and was driving on a suspended license. Miles is currently being held on no bond.
2 protesters arrested for chalking the crosswalk outside of Pulse say their lives are in legal limbo. They were protesting the Florida Department of Transportation painting over the rainbow-colored crosswalk near the memorial. The state attorney's office still has not decided whether to file formal charges. Your Orange County community correspondent Troy Campbell spoke to them about how that delay is disrupting their lives.
It's been several months since 2 people were arrested here outside of Pulse. They were accused of chalking this sidewalk. However, several months later, we're speaking with them and their attorney who say they don't know what's taking the state attorney's office so long on deciding whether to file charges.
If you chalk a rainbow or anything that they don't like, then in this situation, you're arrested.
27-year-old James Houchins says following his November 23rd felony arrest, accused of chalking the crosswalk outside of Pulse, there still has not been any movement in the case.
There are threats of, charging with a felony for children's sidewalk chalk. I don't see them harassing schools or kids in neighborhoods chalking anywhere.
It's a hard situation.
Yeah, I'm not a felon. I haven't done anything. This is a memorial.
25-year-old Mary Jane East was also arrested on a felony charge back on August 31st by FHP, accusing her of chalking the crosswalk.
How is that? The day-to-day, that has to be something that's always weighing on your mind.
I don't go on my social medias or stuff anymore because my name has now been wrapped to this.
Now, you may remember at the time, FHP parked here at this Dunkin' Donuts for several weeks, basically just staking out, keeping an eye over here for anyone who might be considering chalking this sidewalk.
In this case, we are past the 90-day time frame, and we are still awaiting an answer from the state attorney about if they will be filing these charges or not.
Their attorney, Jordan Holmes, says she has sent several emails to the state attorney's office asking about any upcoming charging decisions.
What are some of the obvious negatives to be in like this middle of uncertainty?
Right, so oftentimes employers, even I believe Uber Eats and things like that, they'll run annual background checks, so you can lose your job from that.
Holmes gave News 6 a copy of an email sent Wednesday from the state attorney's office that reads, quote, "I understand your clients' frustrations and the long pendency in their cases," and goes on to say, "I would anticipate a couple of more weeks to conclude my decisions."
What I would like to see happen, and I believe what my clients would like to see happen, is that this be treated with a little bit more urgency. This is affecting their lives. They're unable to work.
Houchins and East say they want a charging decision soon.
It was dedicated as part of the memorial, and the state just showed up and just painted over like it meant nothing.
And of course, we will continue to keep you updated on when a charging decision is officially made. Outside of Pulse, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Investigators say they have arrested a woman accused of a law enforcement phone call scam. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office shared video on social media showing the sheriff greeting 28-year-old Desiree Youngblood when she arrived in Volusia County from Atlanta. Deputies say she is part of a larger fraud ring that stole nearly $79,000 from a woman.
You can tell your homeboys that when you around in Volusia County, you're getting locked up. So I don't know if it was worth it or not.
Detectives were able to track the money through Bitcoin wallet transfers, which led them to Youngblood. She is now facing grand theft and organized scheme to defraud charges. Deputies say if you ever get a call from someone claiming to be law enforcement and demanding money, hang up immediately. Now, earlier this week, deputies told us about an 85-year-old man who was scammed out of $6,000. In that case, investigators say he got a call from someone claiming to be the bank. An Uber driver then picked up the $6,000 and delivered it to a home in Daytona Beach. Deputies say they stepped in when the man got another call for even more money the next day. Investigators prepared a fake package and tracked the delivery to the same address. They arrested the 22-year-old who they say accepted the package and another man accused of dropping him off at the pickup site.
Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is challenging two huge coffee chains to help make America healthy again. At a rally last week, he called on Starbucks and Dunkin' to prove their high-sugar drinks are safe for teens. The governor of Massachusetts, the home of Dunkin', is hitting back. Tom Hansen has more.
Look at everything I need right here at Dunkin'.
Tensions are brewing between one of New England's most beloved brands.
He's such a genius, then why'd he put ice in his coffee?
And Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. after he suggested the Trump administration could place limits on your morning cup of joe.
We're going to ask Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, show us the safety data that show that it's okay for a teenage girl to drink an iced coffee with 115 grams of sugar in it. I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
Federal dietary guidelines published earlier this year recommend meals should have no more than 10 grams of added sugar, but nearly every drink on the Dunkin' menu exceeds that amount, and at least 6 have more than 100 grams. Still, many Bay Staters are standing by the chain.
I'm not choosing it as a healthy choice. It's kind of convenient, and it's my pick-me-up for the day.
And Governor Maura Healey responded with a simple dare. Come and take it.
Ultra-processed foods and beverages are bad for you, regardless of who happens to sell them. Your go-to beverage really shouldn't be liquid candy.
Studies show taxes on sugary drinks and photo warnings reduce consumption. But CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder says a direct ban is unlikely.
It's going to require either new legislation and regulation or state and local governments stepping in where they can. The FDA is not the sugar police, and it can't ban sugar from beverages.
The Department of Health and Human Services said it has strengthened reviews and closed loopholes, but did not clarify exactly what action Kennedy might take to stop businesses from selling high sugar drinks. Dunkin' and Starbucks have not responded to the secretary's comments. Tom Hanson, CBS News, New York.
Well, running inside to the gas station while your car is still running outside.
Yeah, in Florida, that quick move can break the law. Plus, it puts your car at risk. What you need to know coming up. Plus,
getting more homeowners off their septic tanks and onto the sewer line is a big part of how Brevard County intends to improve the health of its local waterways. So why is this project so unpopular? I'll explain why it could cost homeowners up to $100,000, they say.
Tracking a chance of rain every day in the forecast for the next several days, with the best chance on Saturday. And we're also looking at the potential of near record highs. I'll break it all down in just a few minutes.
and as we head to break, we want to remind you to check out our primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. We have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Go in depth as we answer your weather questions at 9:30. Then watch the late news an hour earlier. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus. Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Under the law, homes have to convert their septic tank systems to the sewer. And while Brevard County says that's good for the environment, the problem for homeowners on that side of Fay Boulevard is the sewer line is on this side of the road. They say making the long connection could cost them up to $100,000.
Which is a little outrageous.
Rosemary Augustine contacted me through the New 6 Neighborhood Network, hoping to get more help making the switch than just the $12,000 she says she got approved for from a grant through Brevard County's Save Our Indian River Lagoon program.
We're talking $60,000 to $100,000 per homeowner to convert this. Why can't the county bring the connection to our side of the street and make it accessible?
I asked Rosemary's question to the county, and they haven't answered me back yet, nor do they want to be interviewed. But in an email, they told me the Utilities Department is looking at whether neighbors could share a connection running under the road.
It's not going to be cheap, no matter what.
I asked local plumber, Jeff Rice, if he thinks there's a better way to do this. Do you think the county owes it to the homeowners to put the line across the street, make it more accessible for them?
There's got to be better options out there. Those kind of funds just aren't accessible to most people on a short notice.
A letter to homeowners reads they have 1 year to make the conversion or face fines or service restrictions. Rosemary told me next she might consider getting a legal opinion about this and possibly file a lawsuit against the county. I'll let you know however this turns out. In Brevard County, I'm your Port St. John community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
James, thank you. Someone reached out to the News 6 Neighborhood Network about the switch from septic to sewer. So how can News 6 get results for you? Just go to the News 6 app or clickorlando.com and click Contact Us and let us know how we can help.
All right, meteorologist Julie Broughton joins us now, and we are getting ready to deal with some rain in the forecast. But it's not widespread, you said, but you're talking about some weather headlines right now.
Right, not widespread. So most of us, unfortunately, are not getting any of that much needed rain, but we are continuing to track some showers this afternoon into this evening, but they'll really begin to wind down as we head past sunset. Now, as we move into the weekend, we will keep some isolated showers in the picture, but the big story will be the temperatures will continue to run around 10 degrees warmer than normal. And by Sunday, we could be nearing record highs. I think especially in areas like Sanford, where we're talking about your record right now for Sunday is 87. So I think you have the best chance of maybe breaking some records there. Here's what's happening for you right now on the radar as we loop back over the last hour or so. You can continue to see those showers moving from east to west, and they are losing some of their energy as they continue on that journey. We can go on a little bit closer for you. And so just south of Claremont, that's where we're seeing some heavier rain, but notice it is losing a little bit of its impacts as we take you into West Orange County to the north of Ocoee, tracking up toward Apopka, seeing some moderate rainfall. So as we head through the next couple of hours, we'll see some of those showers continuing. We have seen some lightning, but right now, not a whole lot of lightning out there. Here's what it looks like for you right now as we take a live look from our Daytona Beach sky cam. You can see the red flag flying out there. That means we are looking at that elevated threat of rip currents, some rough surf. So really a great idea. Swim near a lifeguard or just enjoy the sand and enjoy the view. Right now, 78 degrees, plenty of sunshine in Daytona Beach with winds out of the east. Here's how it looks on the clouds and rain forecast as we take you through the rest of the evening hours. So we have been talking about some sea breeze driven showers today. And as that sea breeze continues pushing east, we see skies clearing behind it along the coast. Here's what it looks like as we stop the clock for you at 8 o'clock. Still looking at the potential of some of those showers lingering across our western counties. Then through the overnight hours, I think we'll see a little bit of patchy fog, not quite as much fog as we've seen the last couple of nights for your drive into work and school tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon, again, we'll be tracking that potential of some of those isolated afternoon showers and storms. Now, right now, we're sitting at 77 in Melbourne, 75 in Rockledge. Deer Park, you are at 78 degrees. It is 78 degrees in Daytona Beach. Altoona, you are checking in at 86 degrees. If you're in Lake Buena Vista, you're at 82, and it is 87 right now in Webster. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast. This is Maggie Sue. I used a picture of her earlier this week, but this is a slightly different smile, so I wanted to share this one as well. I think she's just perfect. 78 degrees at 7 o'clock, 73 degrees by 8 o'clock with a few isolated showers. A big area of high pressure is blocking a lot of systems to our north. Some showers moving through areas like Kentucky and West Virginia, and the threat of severe weather across the southern plains. But again, high pressure is our dominant weather maker. That will be the case as As we head into the weekend, overnight tonight, we fall to 67 in Orlando and 64 in Ocala. 7-day forecast keeping temperatures about 10 degrees warmer than normal. Best chance of rain in the extended forecast is Saturday and Saturday night. We also spring forward 1 hour.
All right, Julie, thank you. Open your camera app, scan the QR code on your screen right now, and click the link. We want to see your weather pictures and videos, and Julie wants to see more pictures of Maggie Sue. They could end up on TV. You can also go to clickorlando.com/pins and upload your pictures and videos that way. Well, you may want to think twice before you leave your car running while you make a quick dash inside a store.
Our traffic safety expert explains why that could get you cited. That's next. And we are continuing to wait for that update from the Secretary of War on the situation in the Middle East as we take a live look at Mount Dora. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back. Coming up in the morning, the new push to lure major sporting events to Central Florida.
And the local group with Olympic aspirations and the thousands they want to try to spend to make it happen.
And rain is back in the forecast. Candace will have updates every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 6.
I see people leave their car running while running in the gas station. Is this legal? Okay, so you've probably seen this one before. Someone pulls up to the gas station, leaves their car running, and runs inside for, quote, just a second. But here's the deal. In Florida, that's actually not legal. Under Florida Statute 316, 1975, drivers are not allowed to leave their vehicle unattended without first stopping the engine, locking the ignition, and removing the key. There's more in the law about that part. So if your car, though, is sitting at the pump or the storefront with the engine running and nobody in the driver's seat, technically you're violating the law. And beyond that, it is a ticket. It also just common sense. Gas stations involve flammable fuel. moving cars and a lot of people walking around, and not exactly the place to leave your car running. Unattended. Plus, from a law enforcement perspective, it's basically an invitation for a thief, right? So if you're heading inside for a snack or that lottery ticket, do yourself a favor, turn the car off, take the keys with you, and save yourself that headache. If you got a traffic safety question you want me to answer it, head on over to clickorlando.com/AskTrooperSteve.
Well, people along the coast want to make sure they are not drinking recycled wastewater.
They are moving forward with allowing voters to decide on banning a toilet-to-tap water plan before it's even considered. A new Florida law says cities like Daytona Beach will have to stop dumping treated wastewater into rivers by 2032. Last night, leaders in Daytona Beach discussed a proposed charter amendment that would stop the city from turning treated wastewater into drinking water.
It's chemically treated sewage, chemicals, along with fecal matter.
I certainly don't want my children or grandchildren drinking treated sewage water. I think that's awful.
So what comes next? Daytona Beach leaders will discuss the proposed charter amendment again at another meeting. If leaders approve it, then voters can decide on keeping toilet to tap out of Daytona Beach in November. News 6 at 5 is next.
Anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom with what's ahead.
Well, tonight we're getting a new look at the Permanent Pulse Memorial, a public meeting happening in Orlando. The photos and renderings unveiled today that will honor the lives of those 49 people. What's next in the construction process? And an expensive project impacting one community's wallet. The problems facing St. John's as they convert their septic systems to sewers. And your forecast is just minutes away. Don't forget, you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this look at Daytona Beach for free anytime on News 6 Plus. We'll be right back.
Right now at 5, Orlando giving an update on the plans to permanently honor the 49 victims of the Pulse tragedy, the crucial meeting ahead of the building's demolition. Plus,
for elementary age children, school is so much more than a building.
as more and more districts announce intentions to close schools, one county is hitting the brakes on its plans. We'll tell you where and why. And golf fans descend on Central Florida for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. But it takes a village. We'll introduce you to the volunteers behind the big event. You're watching News 6 at 5. Well, it's been 10 years since the Pulse nightclub massacre, and the plans for a permanent memorial are finally coming together.
In just the past hour, the city of Orlando gave an update on that plan. They also released updated images of what it will look like. News 6 anchor Ginger Gadsden is live for us in the newsroom with these new details, Ginger.
Yeah, Matt and Lisa, this is the 30% report. That means that 30% of the design process has now been completed. So let's give you a look at the new artist renderings we saw today. The memorial will be built on the site of the Pulse nightclub on South Orange Avenue at Cayley Street. This is in Orlando's Soto neighborhood. You can see several small tweaks to the plan since we last received an update. But the new information we heard today is about those artifacts that were recently removed from the current Pulse building. They will go into the new visitor pavilion at the memorial site.
I think it's important that there are some tangible portions of the original Pulse nightclub that will be featured in this space. So a lot is being preserved, and some of these components will be installed here.
Now, as for that iconic sign from the old Pulse building, that will be removed next week. The building itself will be demolished on March 18th. Lisa and Matt, back to you.
All right, Ginger, thank you. Now, this is the latest step toward a permanent memorial to honor those who died at Pulse. Late last year, the city began the process of moving artifacts from the building and into storage, things like the chandeliers, a bar top, and a cash register. Last month, a temporary wall went up around the building to prepare it for demolition. The city is targeting March 10th for the removal of the iconic Pulse sign and March 18th to start the demolition process. The city wants to start construction of the memorial this fall and have everything complete by the second half of next year.
Let's take a live look at our launch credit union Port Cam at Port Canaveral, where the skies are a little gray out there. Some much needed rain has headed into our area today.
That's right. Meteorologist Julie Broughton is joining us now. So, Julie, we definitely need the rain, as Matt mentioned. How long is it going to be sticking around for us?
Well, the good news, Lisa, is that we do have at least a chance of rain every single day in the extended forecast. The bad news is most of us won't get in on any of those showers. As we take you through the next several days, again, tomorrow we're looking at around a 30% chance of rain, so similar to what we saw today. We'll bump that up just a little bit for Saturday, and then as we head through the rest of the extended forecast, we're primarily talking about some isolated showers. Here's a look at the radar for us right now, and you can see most of the action now is off to the west of our viewing area, so our west coast sea breeze set up, and it didn't make it too far inland because of strong winds coming out of the east, kind of keeping that pen toward the coast. But we did see some heavier showers move through in the Four Corners area, and we'll tell you who has the best chance of seeing some rain as we move through the next several days, and when we could be talking about highs getting close to some records.
All right, Julie, thank you. Another county and another possible public school closure. News 6 has told you about closures already in Orange, Brevard, and other parts of Florida. But now, as News 6's Tylisa Hampton reports, that harsh reality has moved to Marion County.
Well, it was an hours-long discussion in Marion County over the closure of an elementary school. However, what the board heard today was the connections that school has to students. Many people urging the board to take a pause in this rezoning and make sure that this was the best option.
Parents and teachers. For elementary age children, school is so much more than a building.
For a child with ADHD and ODD, sudden change isn't small.
One by one, each spoke about Spar Elementary, making their pleas to the school board to not close the school.
I think that school should remain open if it's possible, because that's part of my life. All my kids come through that school.
For almost a year, the Marion County School Board has been discussing rezoning, noting a decrease in enrollment in several schools under capacity, causing financial challenges.
Every single student has a dollar sign attached to them.
At a February meeting, some board members opposed combining Spar and Anthony Elementary into one school and possibly building another, instead suggesting closing Spar and rezoning students to bring other schools up to capacity next school year. Parents calling the decision rushed.
This rapid school change leaves no time to restructure my child's life.
I ask that you weigh not only the numbers on a page, but the developmental impact on these children.
But after a debate,
you have to make sure that whatever we do it in the right timing, make sure it's done for the right reasons.
I am in favor of moving forward.
The board ultimately decided to postpone rezoning into the 2027-28 school year and hold more community meetings.
Really excited about it. I know change is inevitable, so there's going to be a decision now. I think with the allotted time to wait, they can actually make a good decision for the community.
I'm super pleased. I think it gives everyone a little bit more adequate time to get everything together.
And despite the board postponing that rezoning for now, many of the board members did say consolidation would be in the future for Marion County, and that next community meeting is scheduled for next week. Reporting for News 6, I'm Tylisa Hampton.
Thank you, Tylisa. In Brevard County, a restaurant in Rockledge is rebuilding after a car crashed right into it. This happened last night along US 1. The car lost control, drove right through the front of the building. The restaurant posting on social media, everyone is safe and okay. The main building, patio, and tiki bar all fully operational there at the Pineda Bar and Grill. We're asking about the driver and some more details about that crash. We'll let you know when we get them. Orlando police are not saying if they've made any arrests after a shooting inside a gated community. One person was killed, another was badly hurt yesterday morning at the Palms Club condos on Metro West Boulevard. We're asking police what led to the shooting and if they have any suspects. So far, we have not gotten any new info from them. We'll keep following this. We'll bring you the latest information.
All right, happening today, Florida lawmakers are debating a new bill that could change driving rules. It would cover everything from stopping at red lights to some strict new rules when it comes to cameras. Our own Trooper Steve went through this bill and found some concerns.
Central Florida already leads the state with the most red light cameras, and with schools now adding speed cameras like this one right here and those bus cameras we've been talking about, drivers now face an ever-growing threat of getting a ticket they may not have deserved. Florida lawmakers are debating a new bill that could change the rules you might have to follow when you're behind the wheel. I'm your traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve. Now, it covers everything from stopping at red lights to some strict new rules when it comes to those cameras. The unblinking eye. Florida is home to more than 3,000 traffic cameras for everything from red lights to schools to buses. Last year, those 3,000 cameras hit Florida drivers with almost 2 million violations. But were they all fair?
We've had a lot of issues in relation to these cameras, and full disclosure, I'm not a fan of them at all.
Right now, the Florida.
All right, we want to get out of that because right now, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is giving an update on the fighting in Iran. He's holding a press conference at CENTCOM in Tampa. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Spent a couple of hours together, better part of 2 hours, going through the entirety of this Operation Epic Fury. And Admiral, I want to thank you for everything you do and your incredible leadership, for your dynamic thinking, the way you're attacking this problem set on every level. In just days of Operation Epic Fury, you and your team have delivered nothing short of devastating, precise strikes, taking out the better part of Iran's Navy, making it combat ineffective, neutralizing missile sites and launchers, and establishing total dominance over the skies we fly over and seas we fly over. Our forces are executing with unmatched skill, and the mission is advancing decisively. This is the kind of no-nonsense for this moment. Admiral Cooper, on behalf of the President, the Department of War, and every American watching, I want to thank you for the outstanding job you and CENTCOM are doing. Keep pressing the fight, and we are with you all the way. A few thoughts before I hand it over to the Admiral for an update. Iran is hoping that we cannot sustain this, which is a really bad miscalculation for the IRGC in Iran. You see, there's no shortage of American will here. We remember and honor our fallen, those 6 that we will soon welcome at Dover, who gave everything for their country in this mission. We remember them. But we remember them by rededicating ourselves even more fervently to this mission. Our commitment to our mission objectives only increases as our advantages continue to increase. We've got no shortage of munitions. Our stockpiles of defensive and offensive weapons allow us to sustain this campaign as long as we need to. Again, our munition status only increases as our advantage increases. Our capabilities, we have only just begun to fight, and fight decisively. Having a chance to hear from Admiral Cooper. If you think you've seen something, just wait. The amount of combat power that's still flowing, that's still coming, that we'll be able to project over Iran is a multiples of what it currently is right now when you add up our capabilities and those of the Israeli Defense Forces. And we have no shortage of authorities. The Admiral knows we have clear objectives with maximum authorities on the battlefield. The dumb, politically correct wars of the past were the opposite of what we're doing here. They had vague objectives with restrictive, minimalist rules of engagement. No more. Our authorities, his authorities, CENTCOM's authorities through the President and myself are maxed out. Our capabilities are overwhelming and gathering still, as are those of our Israeli partners. Our munitions are full up, and our will is ironclad, which means our timeline is ours and ours alone to control. As long as it takes to ensure the United States of America achieves these objectives. And as we flow more forces, and as we flow more capabilities, and as our munitions, as we're flying over the top, have even more devastating effects, we set the tempo, we set the timeline, led by the commander on the ground. Our ear is to the ground to listen to Admiral Cooper, what he needs, and what he needs he will get. We are built for this fight, and we are in it to win it. And we have the right commander in the lead. So I'll now hand it over to Admiral Brad Cooper to give you an update right here from CENTCOM. Admiral.
Mr. Secretary, first, thank you very much and good afternoon and welcome to U.S. Central Command Headquarters, America's War-Fighting Headquarters. It's great to be here alongside the Secretary and representing the more than 50,000 men and women in uniform currently executing Operation Epic Fury. So, Mr. Secretary, first, thank you very much for your leadership and support and the very clear vision and objectives that you've given us to allow us to use overwhelming force against the Iranian terrorist regime. And thanks to all of you for attending today, and welcome to Tampa. We are now starting our 6th day of a historic mission to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten Americans. We are, if I could channel my inner Navy officer, we are at full speed ahead in executing orders given by leadership in Washington. The President and Secretary Hegseth have been crystal clear in their expectations, and we are at a high level of execution. As described by the Secretary and earlier this week by me, U.S. combat power is building as Iranian combat power declines. Our air dominance allows us to hit Iran's center of gravity with overwhelming power and reach. A couple of examples. In just the last 72 hours, America's bomber force has struck nearly 200 targets deep inside of Iran, including around Tehran. And in just the last hour, U.S. B-2 bombers dropped dozens of 2,000-pound penetrator bombs targeting deeply buried ballistic missile launchers. Notably, we've also struck Iran's equivalent of Space Command, which degrades their ability to threaten Americans. Then, if I just look back over the last 24 hours of the operation compared to where we were at its start, ballistic missile attacks have decreased by 90% since day one. Drone attacks have decreased by 83% since day one. Having said this, we remained vigilant. Our strikes against the Iranian Navy have intensified. You may have heard the President say just a little while ago that we have sunk or destroyed 24 ships. That was true at the moment. We're now up over 30 ships. And in just the last few hours, we hit an Iranian drone carrier ship, roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier, and as we speak, it's on fire. The President gave us another task, to raise or level Iran's ballistic missile industrial base. So we're not just hitting what they have, we're destroying their ability to rebuild. And so as we transition to the next phase of this operation, we will systemically dismantle Iran's missile production capability for the future, and that's absolutely in progress. This is going to take some time, but our forces are well supplied, as the Secretary said, and we are absolutely ready to prosecute this mission decisively. Our combined joint forces have relentlessly destroyed Iran's air defenses over the past few days, and they've continued hunting for more systems to kill. Our air defenders are operating at the very top of their game. I couldn't be prouder, shoulder to shoulder with our partners in the region in many cases, providing the most integrated air defense network in Middle East history. We are fighting to win. Through combined U.S. and Israeli combat power, we will continue decimating Iran.
So that's an update from CENTCOM in Tampa. You can see leaders painting a picture of strength here on the 6th day of what's being called Operation Epic Fury. They talked about dozens of 2,000-pound bombs being dropped on bunkers in Iran to take out their facilities that often protect their drones and weapons there, and hundreds just in the past few days.
Yeah, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth saying there is no shortage of munitions, and their munition stockpile will allow us to sustain this campaign as long as we need to. Also saying our capability, we have only just begun to fight. If you think you've seen something, just wait, and that they have clear objectives with maximum authorities. We're going to continue to monitor that for you. We'll have updates as well on clickorlando.com.
We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Launch Credit Union.
It is that time of year again, golf season in Central Florida.
And there is no better place than Bay Hill for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Sports Director Jamie Say, she has the best assignment of the day. She's at the course and she joins us live now. Jamie, how is it out there?
Oh, it's great, Matt. Thank you very much. I do have the best job of the day. The opening round of the Arnold Palmer Invitational is almost in the books. There are a few competitors who are finishing up their round right now, but I can tell you nobody is going to catch Daniel Berger today. He woke up this morning and then proceeded to shoot a 9 under 63 to seize the lead. That's one shot off the course record. Daniel Berger has a 3-shot lead. Of course, it's the best golfers in the world who bring the fans to Bay Hill year after year, but it's the volunteers, the people you will see this week in the green shirts, who keep this tournament humming. 1,500 volunteers work over 56,000 hours at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and they come from all over Central Florida and even from out of the state. Oftentimes, this tournament is like a reunion because the volunteers come back year after year, like Peggy and Sue and Aisha, who help fans make memories at the Arnold Palmer statue. You're back.
I'm back.
How many years?
This is my 5th year.
And you've got a new knee now.
I do have a new knee. 4 weeks ago, I'm on a new knee. It's great.
What keeps you coming back?
Oh, I just love it. The people here are just wonderful. And just being a volunteer, it is great.
Talk to me about the significance of your pins.
Well, it indicates every year that I have volunteered. It starts at 2011 and it stops at 2000 and what are we into? 26.
We're in 26.
Yes. So it's 15 years this year.
But you got endless energy for this. You're on your feet all day.
You should see me at 12 o'clock at lunchtime. I have to recuperate.
What keeps you coming back?
The people, the smiles that you get, just letting people be happy and enjoy. Golf brings a lot of people together. It's a beautiful thing.
To represent the Arnold Palmer Invitational,
Yes,
what does that mean?
It means a lot because he's done so much for so many people that it's amazing.
I hear that so much from the volunteers here at Bay Hill, that they come back in the memory of Arnold Palmer. This is the 10th year that the King has not been at his tournament, but he remains a towering presence every day this week. We're going to have a full first round recap of the Arnold Palmer Invitational tonight at 11. Live at Bay Hill, I'm Jamie Say, News 6. Guys, back to you.
All right, Jamie, have fun out there. Well, Florida is no stranger to seawater with all of our beaches and coastlines.
Now, a FAMU doctoral candidate is looking to utilize it. Still to come, the invention that could greatly impact military submarines.
Your Thursday evening traffic alert. Watch out. Express lanes are going to be closed overnight as you're traveling westbound approaching 434. It's happened each night and scheduled to take place for the rest of our weeknight. So again, westbound I-4 approaching 434, you just won't be able to slide to the express lanes there. And then lane closures, I-4 east and westbound between the turnpike down here at State Road 528. We'll see those daytime closures that we saw during Trooper Steve on patrol during even the daytime out here at 528 and Goldenrod. And then of course, big shutdowns along the Florida Turnpike. Any shutdown on the Turnpike's big, but down here in Kissimmee along Turnpike and 192, you could see some detours overnight. I'm Trooper Steve with your News 6 Traffic Alert. Drive safely. I'll catch you in the morning.
A Florida doctoral student is trying to develop a battery powered by seawater.
Experts say the technology could change how military submarines operate, allowing them to stay underwater longer. Reporter Justin White has more.
Inside the FAMU FSU College of Engineering, Destiny Law is building a lithium seawater flow battery designed for unmanned submarines and underwater vehicles, something that can help our military.
Like for submarines right now, they have to like come back to the surface to like recharge and stuff, and they can sometimes have to stay for like hours or sometimes even days to recharge, and that's like very dangerous for like our soldiers. So with our battery, they won't. If they do have to come back up to like recharge, it's only for like probably like a few, like maybe max 30 minutes or so.
By incorporating seawater into the battery's chemistry, Law says the system could deliver more than 10 times the energy of traditional lithium-ion batteries. Her research is the first of a renewed partnership between Florida A&M University and the Boeing company.
Working with Destiny actually made this quite exciting, because Destiny was so dedicated to the project. She loved it from the very beginning. And not only that, you could see it by coming the weekends, doing the work for this. She was really excited. It's been great actually to have Destiny work on this one, and we hope actually will actually continue this project for the next 3 or 4 years again. In fact, we're already looking for other students to continue her work.
Law is continuing her work and research, taking a key step to real-world development, but this didn't happen without setbacks.
Finally being able to get that success after all those failures was like the best part of like my research. Because coming in, I had very limited battery knowledge. Didn't really have like battery knowledge behind me. So coming in, I was like, it's a whole new world for me. And that was like the most exciting part, like to open up a new space that I've never been in as an electrical engineer.
Incredibly smart young woman.
Really incredible. Now, after graduating this spring, Destiny says she will head to Boeing to work full-time. Good for her. Well, septic to sewer, it's a change that many people in one Brevard County neighborhood are concerned about.
Still to come, your Brevard County community correspondent James Sparvero went to the neighborhood to get answers.
Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5, and we are following several top stories for you right now. In Orange County, 10 years after the Pulse nightclub tragedy, plans for a memorial are coming together. New images of the design process unveiled today as the city and a construction group provided an update. Much more coming up on News 6 at 6 o'clock.
In Marion County, the district will hold off on consolidating public schools for another year due to declining enrollment. Parents came out today urging the school board not to close Spar Elementary. The school board says consolidation talks will return, but not until the 2027-2028 school year.
In Orange County, the Arnold Palmer Invitational is underway, and 1,500 volunteers from across Central Florida are keeping that tournament humming. We're going to have a full recap of round one tonight at 11 o'clock.
The News 6 Neighborhood Network is connecting viewers with our community correspondents who are working to get solutions to problems in your neighborhood.
Your Port St. John community correspondent, James Sparvero, got a message about a very expensive project being mandated. So James paid a visit to the neighborhood and heard much more from those concerned neighbors.
Under the law, homes have to convert their septic tank systems to the sewer. And while Brevard County says that's good for the environment, the problem for homeowners on that side of Fay Boulevard is the sewer line is on this side of the road. They say making the long connection could cost them up to $100,000.
Which is a little outrageous.
Rosemary Augustine contacted me through the News 6 Neighborhood Network, hoping to get more help making the switch than just the $12,000 she says she got approved for from a grant through Brevard County's Save Our Indian River Lagoon program.
We're talking $60,000 to $100,000 per homeowner to convert this. Why can't the county bring the connection to our side of the street and make it accessible?
I asked Rosemary's question to the county, and they haven't answered me back yet, nor do they want to be interviewed. But in an email, they told me the utilities department is looking at whether neighbors could share a connection running under the road.
It's not going to be cheap, no matter what.
I asked local plumber Jeff Rice if he thinks there's a better way to do this. Do you think the county owes it to the homeowners to put the line across the street, make it more accessible for them?
There's got to be better options out there. Those kind of funds just aren't accessible to most people on a short notice.
A letter to homeowners reads they have 1 year to make the conversion or face fines or service restrictions. Rosemary told me next she might consider getting a legal opinion about this and possibly file a lawsuit against the county. I'll let you know however this turns out. In Brevard County, I'm your Port St. John community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Well, the tributes continue to come in for legendary football coach Lou Holtz. He passed away this week. Holtz entered hospice care just weeks ago. He called Central Florida home for decades. Ginger and I got to meet him in 2024. And earlier today, the governor taking a moment to tell a personal anecdote about the legend.
And I remember we're at an event down in Lake Nona, and it's all these supporters, Lou and me, and Lou goes up and speaks and then introduces me. Well, you don't want to speak after Lou. He was one of the best speakers, probably the best speaker I've ever heard in person, and so I learned a very valuable lesson. So anytime I was ever at events with him, I would just say, make sure I go before him. I don't want to have to follow that.
Coach could command a room. Holtz was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2008. He was 89 years old.
New at 5, the U.S. House has narrowly rejected a resolution to block President Trump from taking further military action against Iran without congressional support. This comes a day after a similar effort fell short in the Senate. Meantime, President Trump says he plans to be involved in picking Iran's next leader as the war with Iran expands. Aaron Navarro reports from Capitol Hill.
President Trump says he expects to have a role in choosing Iran's next leader, according to new interviews with Axios and Reuters. He added that the son of the late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was an unacceptable choice, but he did not offer an alternative.
Their leadership is just rapidly going. Everybody that seems to want to be a leader, they end up dead.
U.S. and Israeli forces hammered Iran for a sixth day, including an attack on a stadium in Tehran, while Iran expanded its retaliatory attacks.
It is the right and responsibility of Iran to defend its nation against this blatant act of aggression.
Here on Capitol Hill, the Pentagon's policy chief faced questions from the House Armed Services Committee
on how the Department of Defense measures success in Iran.
We're looking more at a strategic level at degrading the capabilities of the Islamic Republic, not only fielded forces, but the production
The
capabilities.
lack of specifics on that are troubling in terms of how long this is going to last.
The exchange came ahead of Thursday's vote on the War Powers resolution to limit President Trump's use of force in Iran. A similar measure failed in the Senate on Wednesday. Aaron Navarro, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
In Volusia County, Sheriff Mike Chitwood said deputies made a major fraud bust at a DeLand home and likened what they found inside to a hardware store. This video was on San Suchi Avenue. Sheriff Chitwood says the people running this shop had previous fraud, drugs, and weapon charges. He says they've been using a fake Lowe's credit card to buy about $50,000 in merchandise to resell on Facebook Marketplace. Deputies are looking to make 2 arrests in relation to this case.
Getting your car towed can be a major hassle. Tonight, to look into the confusion surrounding towing with Trooper Steve on patrol.
The big confusion, I think, part is understanding the difference between public and private right-of-way and what rules regulate those areas. Going in a community, in an apartment complex, it's not just the law enforcement that you need to worry about. It's the rules of that said property. Reading signage when pulling into a parking garage is going to help you big time, because they're going to let you know, hey, even if you pull forward, maybe the parking garage wants you to reverse. There could be a weird set of rules, and ultimately, because you're on private property, your vehicle could be towed for almost anything. If your tag appears to be improperly displayed, no license plate, it's in the wrong spot, they're looking, they're towing, because they're going off the rules based specifically from the management property. Make sense?
Well, another important thing to remember, if police specifically tow you, they will usually always let the car owner know. Tow companies, though, may not. You can catch his whole conversation right now at clickorlando.com. Hit the road with Trooper Steve on patrol weekdays at 2:30 in the afternoon and 8:30 at night on the new 6 Plus streaming app for your smart TV or clickorlando.com. A proposed homeless shelter in Orange County has some people concerned.
Neighbors questioning the long-term security of that site. Up next, community correspondent Jarrell Baker went into the neighborhood and spoke to city officials to ask what's next.
The heat is hanging around for the next several days. In fact, we could be closing in on record Sunday with highs climbing into the upper 80s. We'll talk more about that and our chance of rain coming up.
A new take on the day's top stories on News 6 tonight, starting at 9 o'clock. Then get all your weather questions answered at 9:30. And you can watch the late news an hour early at 10. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus.
Download our streaming app for free. Just search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Shark Coatings.
Hey, I'm News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez here in Eatonville with historic roots as one of the first Black self-governing municipalities in the entire country, which gave people economic power. Recently, though, it's been blanketed by poverty, all the more reason why voters should know who wants to be its next mayor. Fifth-generation Eatonville resident Ruthie Critton tells me she loves this town. She moved back after college. She's raising a family here and serves on the board for community redevelopment. She also rarely misses a council meeting.
Just sitting in and listening. Again, self-governance is a big thing in the town of Eatonville. Understanding from a visual perspective what Robert's Rules of Order look like when you're in town government, what resolutions are, what procurement is.
For Critton, buying a home and paying taxes showed her the value of being invested in a community. And her top priorities are resources for homeownership and town finances.
We have a huge renter community here, so we're welcoming of those residents, but we want to make sure that we're providing resources to the residents that are interested in home ownership.
Now, because of Eatonville's size, it's heavily reliant on tax revenue. Critton wants to explore taxable opportunities.
To find ways to spend money wisely, to save money, to substitute with resources and alternatives.
To watch Critton's full interview along with the two other candidates for mayor, go to clickorlando.com/election2026. In Eatonville, I'm your community correspondent, Lauren Melendez, News 6.
A vacant lot on Goldenrod Road in Orange County could soon become the site of a new homeless shelter. The county is considering a plan to build a 150-bed full-service facility.
But some neighbors say they have some questions about the security and how this program would work. Orange County community correspondent Jarrell Baker spoke with neighbors and leaders about the proposal.
It may not look like much now, but Orange County officials are looking to possibly turn this 10-acre lot on Goldenrod into a 150-bed full-service homeless shelter. Robin Person, who lives nearby, says that she wants to help people who are unhoused, but she also has concerns.
They're bringing 150 people from somewhere else into the area, and what's the plan for their finances?
Person says security is one of her biggest worries, and she also wants to know how the county plans to help people get back on their feet.
Are they going to interview the homeless that are currently in the area, or because there are a lot? There's different homeless camps all through the area, all the way up, past Dean Road and back toward 50.
There's also a homeless outreach Samaritan Resource Center 2.5 miles away from the proposed location. I shared those concerns with Orange County Commissioner Myra Uribe.
That'll be completely secured. People will be accepted into the facility. It is not a place for people to just come and loiter. They will not allow loitering.
Commissioner Uribe says that if approved, Goldenrod Village would offer on-site food, laundry, and housing services. She says that people selected to stay there will be assessed and given help to recover.
The idea is that there's a 90-day transition. It gives you 3 months to acquire new employment, handle your needs, help you qualify financially to get another place, and be successful. Nobody wants anyone to fail.
Uribe says that the project would be around $25 to $27 million to build. It will also be owned and overseen by the county with the help from a rehabilitation agency. She also says that the county plans to hold several community meetings so people can voice their concerns, which she hopes start as early as April. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Jarrell Baker.
All right, we want to check in now with meteorologist Julie Broughton, where once again we're seeing a little activity on the radar tonight, some much needed rain out there. How are things looking for the rest of our evening?
Well, we are keeping a few isolated showers in the picture just about every day as we head through the next several days. Most of that activity has already wound down for us tonight. And of course, a big weekend. I know a lot of you will be heading out to Bay Hill this weekend. And what you need to keep in mind is that we are talking about temperatures running about 10 degrees warmer than normal. So by every afternoon, we'll be going in the mid to upper 80s. We will keep a few isolated showers in the picture, but certainly not talking about a rain out by any stretch. Here's a look at the radar for us. Now, most of the activity is now over the western half of the state, and that is where we're continuing to see, again, some of those isolated showers. Our west coast sea breeze has set up. The east coast sea breeze as well is continuing to track inland for us, so we're seeing most of the activity off to the west of our area. Quite a bit of lightning out there as well. We did see a little bit of lightning earlier earlier today. But again, most of this is now wrapped up for us for the evening. We can't rule out a few more isolated showers, but that's about it. Of course, if you want to track the temperatures and the radar in your area, you can always do so from your phone. Just download our free News 6 weather app. Just search WKMG in your app store. Here's a look at your clouds and rain forecast, rolling you through the rest of the evening. Again, some of these isolated showers could track back toward the east, affecting areas like Sumter County and up into Marion County. Overnight, most of us stay dry. We could see a little bit of patchy fog toward morning. Now, the heaviest rain we saw today, that was across our southern counties. So some spots to the south of Kissimmee saw almost an inch of rain. So where you see the areas of green, those are radar estimates. So some decent rainfall totals. We definitely need that, and we need to see some more widespread heavy rain. This is our newest drought monitor that came out this morning at 8 o'clock. No major changes in Central Florida. We all remain under drought conditions. We get these Keach-Byram numbers every day. This basically tells us how dry the soil is. Once we start seeing numbers closer to 500, that's when we see burn bans, and you'll notice all those numbers have been creeping up over the last 24 hours. Right now, some of us still sitting in the mid and even upper 80s. We're talking about 85 in Claremont. Wildwood, you're at 82, and 87 right now in Ocala. Now, here's a look at our mid-level moisture as we head through the rest of the week and into the weekend. And notice Friday into Saturday, still seeing some of that. Some of the modeling is backing off on how much rain we could see on Saturday. But for now, we're keeping that chance of rain right around 40%. Live look outside in Brevard County, showing some clouds hanging around. 77 degrees right now in Cape Canaveral. Your hour-by-hour forecast featuring Jovi, who is a beautiful rescue dog. His mom, Pat, sent us in his photo. 73 degrees at 8 o'clock, 71 degrees at 9 o'clock, and we can't rule out a few isolated showers. Make sure you go to clickorlando.com/pins to share your pet photos. Overnight, we keep it mild, 67 for your low in Orlando, and warm every single day, about 10 degrees warmer than normal through the extended forecast, with a chance of showers every afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Advent Health. All right, Julie, thank you. Well, between Monday and Wednesday, Florida's average price for a gallon of gas jumped over 30 cents a gallon.
So what specifically is causing the spike? Up next, why the conflict in Iran is not the only thing to blame. What you need to know as you head to the pump.
Coming up in the morning, the new push to lure major sporting events to Central Florida.
And the local group with Olympic aspirations and the thousands they want to try to spend to make it happen.
And rain is back in the forecast. Candace will have updates every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 6.
The fallout in the Middle East hitting your wallet. Oil prices surging to $80 a barrel today. At one point, the Dow was down more than 1,000 points today. The Dow ended down more than 700 points. The S&P ended down 0.57%. The Nasdaq ended down 0.26% today. Economists say the Fed could forego any interest rate cuts in the near future to keep inflation in check. But higher interest rates would also keep it more expensive for households and companies to borrow money.
Well, mortgage rates in the U.S. are on the rise. That's according to Freddie Mac. Last week was the first time rates had fallen below 6% since 2022. The jump comes after the war with Iran impacted financial markets. Despite this week's increase, mortgage rates remain significantly lower than at the start of 2025 when they briefly climbed above 7%.
And if you've filled up this week, you've likely seen the sharp increase in prices at the pump. Right now, according to AAA, the average price for regular unleaded in Florida is $3.24 a gallon. That is slightly less than the national average of $3.25 a gallon.
This is quite the spike from last week where the same fuel was under $3. So what's driving up the cost? Well, News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez spoke with AAA about it.
Right now, the national average for a gallon of gas is $3.25. In Florida, it's 1 cent less at $3.24. That's up from $3.19 the day before. AAA says it's because of the conflict in the Middle East and other springtime changes in supply and demand.
So I noticed a change.
Sticker shock at the pump.
A gallon of gas costs more than a burger.
Since the U.S. and Israel launched a military campaign against Iran, gas prices have increased.
These are the highest gas prices that we've seen since last spring.
AAA says the conflict has led to constrained oil exports.
The oil prices have increased as a result of that, rising about $7 per barrel just in the past couple of days alone. That's the equivalent of about a 20-cent increase at the pump.
Even before the conflict in the Middle East, gas prices were already following similar seasonal patterns. This time of year, gas demand tends to rise as spring break travel ramps up and refineries switch to summer blend gasoline.
It's a special kind of blend of gasoline that enables the vehicles to burn that fuel more efficiently during the hotter summer months.
As it's likely the cost will continue going up this week, drivers are getting fuel now.
Well, I fill up my tank to make sure that I get it before it increases again.
Oil prices are sitting around $74 a barrel, but AAA says that's a long ways away from the $120 a barrel we saw when the Russia and Ukraine war began. Reporting in Seminole County, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Ginger Gadsden is in the newsroom with what we are working on for News 6 at 6.
The city of Orlando unveiling a new vision for a permanent Pulse Memorial. Coming up, we are getting reaction from the community on this long-awaited project. And we're taking a closer look at the newly released design plans. Also, a former Lake County leader facing felony grand theft charges tonight. But what she's accused of stealing is highly unusual and a little unsettling, too. We'll explain in this story you'll see only on News 6. We'll see you at the top of the hour. A new vision to honor the victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting. Now on News 6 at 6, a look at the design plans unveiled today. Plus,
a former town clerk arrested and accused of grand theft. We're uncovering the allegations involve cemetery plots here in Ashtabula.
And luxury jewelry, cars, and homes. Investigators say this man is accused of running a $300 million Ponzi scheme.
Do you anticipate talking one day once this is resolved?
Excuse me, guys. Thank you.
What we now know after he was in federal court today. News 6 at 6 starts now.
We start with honoring the 49 lives lost. That's the goal for the permanent Pulse Memorial, and now we know there is a new vision for this. Some new images this afternoon from the city of Orlando showing their latest design plans.
Yeah, the designers came together to present their latest renderings on the project that comes almost 10 years since that deadly massacre. News 6's Troy Campbell was inside the meeting. So Troy, tell us a little bit about what you were able to see and learn today.
Well, Matt and Ginger, as soon as we went up to the 9th floor here, walked into the room, we saw those easels across with the images, the poster boards, showing all of the images of the renderings at their 30% phase. Now, the city is making it clear they're doing this because they want the public, the community, victims' families to feel like they are a part of this process as they move forward with a permanent memorial. Now, looking at these renderings, they do show a large circular shape with a memorial with a rainbow colored wall. Now, there are also images showing a reflecting pool and a fountain wall. These design updates come after several meetings conducted by the Pulse Memorial Advisory Board. Now, I sat in all of those meetings, heard from survivors and their families who all pushed for certain elements to be added to the memorial. This includes requests to have the victims' names listed and making sure there was a rainbow colored theme to this site. City says the construction is estimated to be about $12 million. Now, several groups involved in the design and construction say they're determined to honor the victims and their families. They say they're making sure the memorial is a place for all to gather. While speaking, several designers became emotional, emphasizing how important the site is. You explained it's more than just a construction site. So what is your motivation now moving forward?
You want to see it through. That's going to be a big one. We start with getting the concepts right. We're hoping we're getting that, but we need to actually follow through with it.
And a lot of work still yet to be done. The designers do emphasize this is a 30% update, so there's still 70% to be done. They say they do plan to do a 60% design update in May. Now, the next big step is for March 18th. That is when the actual Pulse building is set to be demolished. Live in downtown Orlando, Troy Campbell, News 6.
It has been a long process. Troy Campbell, thank you.
All right, talking about our weather now. We desperately need the rain, and it's so nice to see those green splotches behind you on radar, Julie.
Yeah, it was a very summer-like day with some sea breeze-driven showers and storms, and we still have a lot of activity going well to our west, and some of those showers and storms propagating back into areas like Sumter County and into Lake County. Here's how it looks as we go in a little bit closer for you on the radar, and you can see we're talking about some pockets of heavy rain, some lightning out there as well as we go toward areas like Bushnell, really seeing some pretty heavy rain right now along I-75, and all of this is lifting off to the north. Where you see the areas of yellow, red, and magenta on the radar, that's where we're talking about some extremely heavy downpours. So likely we're talking about low visibility in those areas right now. Most of the activity, I think, for us is pretty much wrapped up through the overnight or through the evening hours, but we'll keep a few more showers around as we head towards sunset. Here's a look at our radar estimates as far as totals for today. Some of the heaviest rain we saw was in the Kissimmee area and to the south, where we saw around ½ an inch to about 0.8 of an inch of rain, which certainly is much needed. It's not going to make a huge difference with those drought numbers, but once we get back into that time of year where we start to see showers every day, that may help the situation for us. Here's what it looks like for you right now. This is our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera over downtown Orlando, where we're seeing that mix of sun and clouds. Right now, we are sitting at 76 degrees in Orlando. Some spots, though, still holding cooling on to the 80s, 83 in Ocala, 81 in the Villages, and this warmer than normal trend hangs around. In fact, by Sunday, some of us nearing records, including in Sanford, where we're expecting 87 for you, which would tie your current record. We'll talk more about much more of this and take a look ahead to the weekend in a few minutes.
Julie, thank you. Only on News 6 tonight, stealing from a cemetery and taxpayers.
A former town clerk is facing a felony charge of grand theft for buying up cemetery plots at a fraction of the price on her last day in office.
News 6's Catherine Silver is in Lake County with the exclusive court documents.
It's a small town of 1,800 people. This is Astatula, where Jennifer Tucker is accused of defrauding the place she used to work for.
Wow, that's kind of wild.
Word started spreading as soon as we started asking questions Thursday.
This is the first time I've actually heard about it.
Do you know the name Jennifer Tucker?
I do.
There's so much gossip that goes on around here.
I know nothing. What we do know from court records is that Tucker turned herself in Flagler County in February after a warrant was issued in Lake County for her arrest for grand theft. Tucker's arrest affidavit shows she purchased plots here at the city-owned cemetery for a fraction of the price. She allegedly purchased 30 of them, well below the out-of-town rate of $1,000 and the residential rate of $100. Tucker's affidavit says she paid $300 when she should have paid $3,000. It's a loss of $2,700 to the town. Authorities in Lake County started investigating when Astatula's mayor, Zane Teeters, reported the town had tried to resolve the matter with the former town clerk, but she allegedly stopped responding. We went to the town hall Thursday, where the mayor told us off camera he cannot comment on an ongoing investigation. Tucker's affidavit says she worked here as the town clerk for about 8 months before she resigned in August. The same month, investigators say the plots were purchased. We also went to an address for Tucker listed in court records. It's gated. And tried to reach her by phone. Hi, is this Jennifer? Our conversation was short. We wanted to give you an opportunity to tell your side of the story. She told us she would need to speak with her lawyer before she says anything about the allegations.
Hi, Zane Teeters.
In 2024, our news team saw her in her role as clerk, swearing in newly elected officials, including the mayor, after the first closely contested election in this small town in more than a decade. Before Tucker was the town clerk, she was the president of the cemetery committee, according to the affidavit. She's expected in court for an arraignment hearing on March 16th. In Lake County, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
The man accused of running a nearly $350 million Ponzi scheme is staying tight-lipped about the charges against him.
Walking outside a federal court in Orlando today, Christopher Alexander Delgado declined to answer repeated questions from reporters, including our own Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti, who is joining us live now. Mike?
Yeah, Matt, 34-year-old Christopher Alexander Delgado walking out of the doors behind me following a nearly 1 hour long court hearing. That gave us a glimpse into his life of luxury. Anything you want to say after today's hearing, Mr. Delgado?
No comment today. Thank you, guys.
Equipped with a GPS monitor on his ankle, Christopher Delgado took his attorney's lead and stayed quiet when asked about the allegations that he defrauded investors out of millions.
Do you anticipate talking one day once this is resolved? No comment,
guys. Thank you. The former CEO of the now defunct Goliath Ventures, Delgado is charged with wire fraud and money laundering, accused of providing payments of purported returns to existing investors using the funds contributed by new investors. Prosecutors say he used investor funds to buy multi-million-dollar homes in several places, including Winter Park and Kissimmee.
The government says one investor lost about $720,000. And some investor funds, meanwhile, the feds say, were being used for Delgado's personal expenditures and also for Goliath's corporate spending on things like corporate credit cards and Christmas parties.
Did you use investor funds for Christmas parties for Goliath?
That's because of the war?
We have no comment at this time. Thank you.
To the investors that are saying.
So here's something that played an interesting and unexpected role in today's court hearing. The Iran war, again, something we did not anticipate the judge broaching today, but the judge was concerned that if she ruled that Delgado's assets be turned over in Dubai. He's got a lot of assets in Dubai that the U.S. Embassy right now, given the growing instability in that region, the U.S. Embassy would not be able to assume those assets. So instead, the judge decided to freeze the assets. We're talking about a list of more than 50 items, including luxury cars, watches, and jewelry. Those frozen assets are both here in the United States and, again, as I said, in Dubai. We're live outside the federal courthouse in Orlando. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Mike, thank you. A former Apopka high school teacher is facing charges. He's accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a student. The details of this story are pretty disturbing, too, so little ears might want to be careful in the room with you right now. Apopka police say 26-year-old Gadil Rivera Nieves had a relationship with a then 17-year-old boy back in 2022. Police say during this time, the two were together in the teacher's classroom during lunch and at the victim's home. Officers also say Rivera Nieves groomed the victim by buying him things like laptops and helping him get scholarships, even offering to divorce his husband to be with the teen. Apopka police don't believe that there are any other victims, but they are asking anyone with information to give them a call.
New at 6, another disturbing story out of Orlando. Police arresting an Advent Health nurse accused of sexually battering a patient. Police say this man, a registered nurse, performed acts on a woman who suffered from several medical and mobility issues. Officers also say he gave her morphine, even though she said not to. Police say the victim reported this to other staff members, even recorded him flirting with her before the incident. He is now facing charges, including sexual battery. A group of leaders will now oversee the Hungerford property.
Dr. Phillips Charities announced an advisory committee is being formed to help oversee the project. Orange County Public Schools agreed to sell the property to Dr. Phillips Charities. It was approved by leaders earlier this year. Now, there were some changes needed for the Orange County property. 10 people have now been announced as part of this advisory committee. The group is expected to meet monthly to offer insight and strengthen the relationship with the community.
Well, an empty lot in Orange County could soon have a new purpose.
Leaders are weighing a plan to help people in need. Coming up, we're breaking down the plan to build a homeless shelter on Goldenrod and hearing what some neighbors think about it.
And the PGA Tour is in Central Florida this weekend. We'll check in with meteorologist Julie Broughton, who has your forecast.
Good evening. Ahead, we're following developing news. Kristi Noem is out. What we're learning about what led President Trump to fire his Secretary of Homeland Security and what comes after her. All that and more ahead on the CBS Evening News.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health.
We are trying to clear the air on a proposed homeless shelter in East Orange County. We got a call this morning from a woman who was concerned about a vacant lot on Goldenrod Road that's near East Colonial Drive. That is where the county is looking to put a potential 150-bed facility. She told your Orange County community correspondent Jarrell Baker she's not opposed to a shelter, but wanted to know if the county would be doing anything to help people get back on their feet.
Are they going to interview the homeless that are currently in the area, or because there are a lot?
The idea is that there's a 90-day transition. It gives you 3 months to acquire new employment, handle your needs, help you qualify financially to get another place, and be successful. Nobody wants anyone to fail.
All right, so you heard Orange County Commissioner Myra Uribe say it right there. This place would be dedicated to helping people with resources like on-site food, laundry, and housing services. She also tells us the county plans to hold several community meetings so people can voice their concerns, which could start as soon as next month.
Well, Apopka's mayoral election is March 10th. It's almost here, and I recently had the opportunity to team up with the Orlando Sentinel to ask the candidates about their plans for the city. I asked each of the candidates about their vision for a downtown that has seen some businesses leave recently. This week, we've already shown you a portion of current Mayor Brian Nelson and Orange County Commissioner Christine Moore's answers, and today we hear from former City Commissioner Nick Nesta. Let's talk about Apopka's downtown. It has recently undergone a pretty big, vivid transformation, but we have certainly seen some businesses are struggling. We've seen restaurants and at least one bar shut down. And there are still some problems with traffic there and other issues. So tell me, and tell the voters really, what is your idea? What is your vision for downtown Apopka? Commissioner Nesta.
Thank you. Yeah, the downtown Apopka area, having grown up here and really seen it go through transformation and changes, and businesses come, businesses go. And the problem is that we don't have a cohesive or comprehensive plan. How do we create synergy between the downtown area, the business owners there? There's a substantial amount of churches down there. Once elected, I'm going to make sure that we reintroduce what the city is to be to our residents, how we enjoy the city again. We haven't shown our residents how to truly enjoy our downtown area. One big thing is I pushed hard for the economic development director and department that the current administration really pushed against. So it's just actually utilizing that department to its fullest potential, incentivizing businesses not only to come to downtown, but to stay downtown.
The three candidates answered questions for almost an hour. If you'd like to see the entire interview, you can find it on clickorlando.com.
The Arnold Palmer Invitational teed off today from Central Florida, and as you can see here, it was jammed-packed for that kickoff of the popular golf event. The tournament runs through the weekend in Bay Hill.
We're excited, and some of you are excited to go check that out this weekend. The question is, how is the forecast going to look? Are we going to be dodging rain showers? Meteorologist Julie Broughton has the answer.
Yeah, we will have a few showers in the forecast, but I think the bigger story this weekend will be the heat. Look at this. Today, we hit a high of 87 degrees out at Orlando International Airport after a morning low of 66. And as we head through the weekend, we are keeping highs in the mid to upper 80s. So that means if you are going out to Bay Hill, you really want to hydrate. Make sure you're wearing clothes to keep you cool because you can overheat really quickly when we're talking about temperatures like this. Now, tomorrow, if you're heading out in the morning, I think we'll see some clouds hanging around 67 degrees by noon, or by 10 o'clock rather. We are already in the upper 70s with a mix of sun and clouds. I'm keeping our rain chances for tomorrow around 30%. So you do have that chance of running into a few showers by around 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And our highs again will go in the mid to upper 80s as we wrap up our work week. Here's a look at the radar imagery for you right now as we are sweeping out. We had some showers moving in along the East Coast sea breeze. Some of the heaviest rain we saw was in Osceola County. And you can see that sea breeze collision happening well to the west of Orlando. The West Coast sea breeze has definitely been more active today, but we're still seeing a few showers popping across our area into Sumter County as some of these showers kind of slide back toward the east. So up toward Bushnell, you're seeing some heavy rain, a little bit of lightning as well. And right on top of the villages, you're also seeing some really heavy rain. So Roads likely slick in this area, and you are seeing a little bit of lightning out there. This is continuing to move generally off toward the north has been the motion that we have seen over the last several hours, and that's kind of what we're dealing with again today. So the heaviest activity has moved through Fruitland Park. That will track up toward Dallas and Pedro as we move through the next 30 minutes to an hour. And again, Bay Hill right now, we are looking dry on the radar. Here's a look at our rainfall estimates over the last day or so, or really throughout the day today. Some spots in Osceola County picking up close to an inch of rain. We desperately need more rain because all of Central Florida is experiencing drought conditions. Here's what it looks like for us right now outside in Brevard County. Some clouds, and notice how breezy it is on the palm trees with winds gusting to 24 miles per hour. Right now we're at 76 degrees, 80 in the Villages. I expect with that rain in your area, your temperature will drop. 83 right now in Ocala, and it is 79 if you're in Titusville. Now, here's your hour-by-hour forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
Boris and Luna are taking advantage of some great light and posing for a picture for us. Low 70s at 8 o'clock, hanging on at 71 at 9 o'clock, and 70 degrees for you at 10 o'clock. We can't rule out a few more isolated showers this evening, but I think the bulk of our activity is likely over. Here's how that looks on the clouds and rain forecast at 6 o'clock. So moving through the 6 o'clock hour, again, the model is showing some of those showers just like we've seen, moving back into areas like Sumter County up toward the Villages. By around 8 to 9 o'clock, I think all of this wraps up. So as we go through the overnight hours, we'll see skies partly cloudy, and we are looking at the potential of a little bit of light fog again toward morning. Overnight lows tonight do stay warmer than normal, falling to 62 in Palm Coast, 67 in Orlando, and 65 in the Villages. Here is your 7-day forecast. Look at that. Highs running about 10 degrees warmer than normal every single day. Expect a 30% chance of rain tomorrow. We bump that up just a little bit for Saturday. And again, we spring forward 1 hour Saturday night.
Converting homes from septic to sewer is a big part of how Brevard County says it's improving local water quality, but one project is not so popular with the neighbors.
Yeah, some homeowners on Fay Boulevard and Port St. John have to connect to a sewer line on the other side of the divided 4-lane highway. One homeowner reached out to us through the News 6 neighborhood network saying that could cost homeowners up to $100,000.
We're talking $60,000 to $100,000 per homeowner to convert this. Why can't the county bring the connection to our side of the street and make it accessible?
Your Port St. John community correspondent James Barbero brought that very question up to Brevard County leaders. They didn't answer that question specifically, but did say the utilities department is looking at whether neighbors could share a connection running under the road. Homeowners have a year to make the conversion, or the county says they'll face fines and see service reductions.
All right, we're closing in on a big weekend. We're getting some much needed rain right now. Julie Broughton, tell us where it's happening.
Well, right now, most of us are dry. We're seeing a few isolated showers across our western counties. Matt mentioned a big weekend. Lots of folks heading out to Bay Hill. It will be warm. We're talking about temperatures closing in on 90. Expect a 30% chance of showers tomorrow, 40% chance on Saturday. Not a washout by any stretch, but just keep some rain gear with you in case you run into some of those showers.
Okay, good to know. Nothing drastic. Well, hey, we have more news coming up for you at 9 o'clock. That's on clickorlando.com and the News 6 Plus streaming app.
Until then, we hope you have a really good night. Stay dry out there and be safe. Bye.